welcome to our Morning Throners podcast.
I'm Nelson.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Glow.
And I'm Kyle.
And we're the fucking Morning Throners.
Welcome back to another episode of your favorite Song of Ice and Fire podcast. We're the Morning Throners. Shit's popping off on our Discord. If you're not there following us, you're missing out on just the behind-the-scenes discussions. We got Davos 2 on deck. Good chapter.
Great
Might
chapter.
be a long one.
Kyle, what are your thoughts, bud?
My thoughts, this was a good one, yeah. I mean, it leaves you wanting more, obviously. I mean, we'll get there, but like, it had a little bit of everything. It went from, kind of got an update on the battle, what's going on around Storm's End, get a little insight into some plans that were going on, get a little insight into some stuff that happened in the past.
Some weird-ass magic shit.
Yeah, some more magic shit. I have some stuff to say about that, obviously. I mean, I feel like you had to know that coming into this, so
yeah,
we'll get there.
Yeah. Let's not dwell on it too long because I don't want to talk about. We got a lot of stuff to talk about in this chapter. Let's not talk about it twice.
All right, before we get in there, I just want to say I forgot how much I like Davos as a character, though.
Davos is a goat for sure.
He seems like a good dude so far.
Just like kind of relatable.
Yeah.
Honorable, like a not highborn guy. Like we get that kind of peasant view of it.
Not that he even says it himself. He's a gray man.
He's a humbled.
No, I mean he's got his flaws and he's a good dude.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing I'll say, my 2 cents before we get into it is this is only the second Davos chapter. So like this is the least number of POVs from one person we've got so far. Even Theon's got 3.
Yeah, and Davos or Danny was 3 too.
Yep. And then I just love this chapter because I think it's got some of the best in terms of like the plot's actually like interesting, but it's got some of the best dialogue in the entire book, I think. Like the Courtney Penrose stuff and then the Stannis and Davos even by themselves stuff, I think is so good.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Now you said the Penrose stuff's in here too. I didn't pull that much from this. Like I don't know that I remember much of the conversations outside of like
Penrose is
the gist.
Penrose is good.
Yeah.
He just has a couple good.
Stannis is okay
snapbacks.
with Davos. I think it's a lot coming from probably the first round of convos.
Yeah. And we'll get into it. So before we do, what happened in the last Davos chapter?
All right, Davos. Last time at Davos, they burned all the wood gods. He went up to talk to Stannis. They talked about him. It ended up with him spreading the word.
The whole Stannis sword thing happened, right? He pulls the sword out of the
burning
fire.
the sword, and then it ends up being like Davos like, you can't do this, and he's like, fuck it, we're doing it, and you're gonna go and tell everybody that Cersei banged her brother.
Yeah. So Davos went to Gull Town, then to the Fingers, then to White Harbor. So basically, he just went from Dragonstone, hit a few major cities going north. His son Dale went south, past Cape Wrath, the whole way around Dorne, spreading the same message. So where Davos is now, like where this is starting, is 8 days after Davos has re-met up with Stannis, which is 14 days after, about 14 days after Renly has died, it seems like, because Stannis tells Courtney that he's had a fortnight, so 2 weeks. Davos says he got here 8 days ago, right? So now I'm getting into the timeline a little bit because I have some problems with the timeline.
Timeline doesn't matter.
Oh,
I got some
timelines with the problem.
I got some big problems with the timeline. At least the one that we go.
Davos is just flying around
I
the world.
don't like the timeline that you use though. Remember I called it out the one time?
Well, I mean, we call it out when it's wrong. This one, I'm definitely calling out. I think this one, it's over a month wrong on this one. There's one problem I have is that Lizzie says this is like 6 weeks after Renly died, which is like straight up. It should be like close to a fortnight after Renly died, unless Stannis waited a month to give Courtney his terms.
Maybe he gave him a little bit of siege, and then it was like,
for
fuck
like a
it.
month,
All
and
right.
then gave terms.
Yeah,
maybe.
that seems like it was long. That seems long.
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, it seems like that's a long time to just be sitting in this field. But the only thing I would say though, I guess, is it probably did take some time to gather up the other lords as well. You know.
Yeah, but like maybe a few days.
Figure out who's on his side.
I'll give him a week for that.
Weren't they at Bitterbridge too, or Bitterridge?
No, so that's
the majority of the host was,
them.
but the lords, I think, I'd say the majority of the lords and their armies are with, because they were all the riders, right?
Yeah,
like
all
Renly took the riders.
Lords, the lords are mostly there because they have the horses, but all the foot soldiers still at Bitterbridge. And Stannis talks a little bit about that, like how he was trying to get them later on.
Yeah.
But the other big problem I have with the timeline, and this one's not as big, but if we think about where Davos just came from, this is why I wanted to bring up like the last Davos chapter. He's coming from White Harbor. He's kind of going the opposite. Like his route here is the opposite route that Marcella's taking. Right. And this timeline that I'm looking at says that this takes place a month after Marcella leaves. In this chapter takes place a month after Marcella leaves. Davos got here over a week ago. right? Which means he's like, there's a good chance they're crossing paths, and we don't hear about that. So there's no way. So
About two ships. I mean, one.
Well, they're also taking a sneakier path.
But
Yeah, Davos
going
probably
right next door,
Davos
though.
probably went to Dragonstone
That's
where Marcella was hiding from Dragonstone.
I'm just saying, like, if you're going from north to south, you're probably staying inside of the coast, right? There's one coastline. So
There's two coasts.
like even once you get past, what do you mean? Well, yeah, but they're both on the east coast.
Yeah, but
I mean,
they were gonna work. You would think that they would work more to the Essos side, Marcella's
Yeah,
crew.
They're
Yeah,
not
so
gonna hang
and like
out
I
on
said,
the
in the map they cross
Westeros
over
stuff.
pretty early, so there's not like a huge area where they'd be passing. But I don't know. I just think that's another big possibility
Hard to tell.
that
That's fine.
George could play with if he wanted to, if the timeline was that way.
Sure.
I just think
Yeah.
that Davos.
Oh, look!
I think
There's a
Davos
ship.
is.
I mean, again, they flew under white sails too. Davos is probably like, "Fuck that! Like, I don't need any shit."
So I guess for my claim, so the timeline for you guys knowing is like the Tyrion chapter where Marcel, like the last Tyrion chapter we did, is about a fortnight, a little bit later than a fortnight after Renly's death, right? So they hear about Renly's.
You're using that same timeline that you don't trust to judge your other time.
Well, no, it's still like relative, right? Because just relative, because from Renly's death, Tyrion gets news of it, and then in the last, so there's two chapters, Tyrion chapters since Renly's death. The one where Tyrion gets news and Littlefinger leaves, and then the last Tyrion chapter where he says it's been 10 days since Littlefinger left. So we have a definite timeline between those two chapters. There's a guesstimate on how long it took Tyrion to get the news, right? But probably maybe a week from when Renly died. So it's probably about 17 days from when Renly died is the last Tyrion chapter, right? Yeah, so like while the timeline is all messy, you can get them relative to each other for stuff like that. It's not a huge deal. I just think that the one that we're going off of, which says this takes place about a month later than that, I think is totally wrong. And logically, I think it takes place about the same time as the Marcella chapter.
Yeah.
Let's hop in. All right, so Stannis is meeting Courtney Penrose. Penrose rolls up on Stannis. Davos, Melisandre is his banner woman, and all the High Lords that switched from Renly to Stannis, which we get their name. I'm sure Nelson will list them off when it comes. But again, it's Davos's POV. First thing, he's like, why the fuck am I even here? That was like the
Feels
first
so
thing
out of
I got.
place.
What am I doing here?
Yeah, and he's wondering why he's in armor. He mentions that everybody on Stannis' side is in armor except for Melisandre, and like Courtney Penrose, I think, is here with one other guy in unarmored, right?
Yeah, and he's pretty
They're
basic.
not going to battle. They're going to parlay
Yeah.
or whatever they call it.
I think it's more of a show. Like if you think about every
For
other
sure.
lord, they're all painted up. Like only him and Stannis are Stannis probably just doesn't give a fuck, and Davos doesn't have anything else. Like what's he gonna do? Paint an onion on his fucking leather and shit? Like so everyone else, I think is doing it for show.
My point here is though, Courtney is treating Stannis like he's treating him very honorably. Like you're not somebody who would just kill me in front of. You could
yeah,
Stannis
he's not
could
afraid of him.
Stannis could just kill him and then take the castle, right? Like bang, which is kind of
Yeah,
what.
but it's under parlay. He knows
Which is
he's
kind of
on.
what it seems like.
Yeah.
So like, why is Stannis not okay with it? Is kind of what I'm getting at, right? So like, if he's trying to do this, basically do that anyway.
Because maybe Penrose isn't as honorable. Maybe he's just gonna fucking shoot
It's
him.
out in the open then. Like people are going to see that and
I get it.
besmirch it.
Like, that's kind of what I'm getting at, Glow. Exactly. He's
All
trying to, yeah. But the same opportunity is presented at the very start of this chapter is kind of my point here.
The next kind of major thing I have is that Stannis doesn't look very good.
No, he's very sunken and
Looks older.
looks like he's losing his life.
And when Davos gets up closer on him later on, he says like, yeah, it's, I didn't
And
even
he's,
realize
yeah,
it's
he's
worse
aged
than
a
I
fuck
thought.
ton, right?
Yeah.
Well, and Davos has an in with his son, Devon.
Yep.
We can call him Devon.
Devon.
Davon.
who
Kate,
is his squire.
Dave,
yeah.
Davon.
Davon's.
Davon.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
Fucking
Yeah. So Devon, right?
David.
No, Devin.
David.
All right. Well, we'll call him Devin for you. I'll try. So Devin, his son, is Stannis' squire. So he has he knows what's going on. He's he hasn't slept in weeks, pretty much since Renly died, and
Only
Melisandre is the
Melisandre can
only one that
soothe
can
him.
help him sleep, and she's in there with him all the time.
What's she doing in there? What's she doing to help him sleep?
Who knows?
I know
man?
what helps me sleep.
Jerking his gherkin.
Oh, Nelson. Maybe they're in there diddling, but I don't know if they're diddling or not.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So that's the thing, though. Is
He might just be rubbing her hair, rubbing. She might be rubbing his hair, or
it could
scratching his
even
back.
be completely different than that, though. It could be magic shit, right? She's obviously got some skills of the supernatural, or something
For
like
sure.
that.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe it's like she's putting him in a trance or spells or
Potions.
stuff. Yeah.
Witch shit.
Definitely comes up to Davos. So like, why is she sleeping with him? But like, she's sleeping with him. That's what he's thinking. He doesn't.
Yeah, Davos.
He doesn't.
I mean, that's
accuse
obviously
the Lord or your grace, but
it's the implication.
Yeah, it's implication, but everything we know about Stannis, yeah, exactly. Everything we know about Stannis is he's like honorable, and that's not who he is, and like he only really did the deed to get stuff done. So, but at the same time, I just kind of talked myself into he only does the deed to get stuff done. So this is to get stuff done. But it's every night. It sounds like, if anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's I guess what I'm getting at.
He needs to go to sleep somehow, dude.
So the first interaction between Stannis and Lord Courtney is pretty much like every other time we see a
My
king
lord?
meet somebody, where they don't call him king, right?
Yeah.
Somebody speaks up about it. This time it's Lord Alistair Florent, who is Stannis' wife's uncle.
Big butt kisser. Big butt kisser.
Yep.
Huge butt kisser.
One thing I'll point out, Littlefinger, when they were talking about this in the Tyrion chapter where they get news of it, Littlefinger's like, in Varys is reporting, he's like, oh, a lot of the lords have gone over to Lord Stannis, and Littlefinger's like, led by the Florence, I'll wager, right? And here we hear that it was led by the Florence. There's two reasons for this.
I didn't put that together.
The one is it's Stannis' wife. The second one, though, is
he's
known for this.
Well, Littlefinger also was like, let's spread this rumor, which we'll talk about a little bit later, which is directly about the wife, right? It's about the wife fucking a fool. So, like, the rumor insults House Florent, right? So it makes sense that, like,
has that gone west though? That rumor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was like the whole point.
Yeah, they send ravens to all that.
Yeah,
right?
so it makes sense that they kind of want to go to her defense.
Well, that
as,
rumor
like, a
came from
family.
the west.
I meant like west of King's Landing.
Well, that I don't know.
It's definitely there because when Stannis
Like
asked Davos about how like spreading the word of Cersei's incest went,
Well,
Davos
that
says
was
some of
north,
the places we went, got the other news of the other shit before we even got there.
Yeah, but that was north. So
True, but his son went south. Might have been the same thing there. They pretty much tried
ravens
to
travel
everywhere.
faster
But
than ship.
I mean, I guess the other thing I thought was that this Florent dude is known for kind of chasing glory, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what Courtney calls.
Yeah,
him
that's
out
what
on,
Penrose. Yeah, Penrose called him out.
So yeah, this is another mention of these like group of people that they're calling Davos refers to as the Queen's Men. Stannis had left his queen on Dragonstone along with her uncle Axel, but the Queen's Men were more numerous and powerful than ever. Alistair Florent was their foremost. I think in the first Davos chapter, he's basically referring to the Queen's Men as people who are 100% all on this new religion because
all in the religion, yeah, for sure.
Because Stannis'
Like,
wife is
the
all
fire
in on the religion, right?
Okay.
Have the fire.
They're all wearing the patches.
Shit.
Yeah.
with
fire
So
patch.
in the first Davos, he's like, it seemed like there was a lot of lords who just took the religion because, oh, now the queen's going to like me because I'm the one who's accepting the religion she does. So they're called the Queen's Men because they're trying to win. Seems like they're trying to win favor with the queen potentially. Right.
I agree.
So yeah, just that mention again. Yeah. So we get into the name of the people. You want me to go? You want to hit it, Jeff?
No, hit them up. I skipped over them. We've heard these names a ton. Just
So
list
the
them
people,
off.
the people who are with Stannis now: Lord Eldon Estermont, Sebastian Errol, Lord Stefan Varner, Lord Sir John Fossaway of the Green Apple Fossaways, Sir Brian Fossaway of the Red Apple Fossaways, and then both people from Renly's Rainbow Guard, Lord Bryce Caron of the Marches, and Sir Guyard Morgan, who's Guyard the Green, and finally Lord Alistair, who we just kind of
Guyard
finished
the Green
talking
of
about.
where?
His name's Sir Guyard Morgan. Guyard the
He was
Green.
a
He was the green cloak for Renly.
I know, but like we don't know where he's from. Or
He's Sir Morgan.
He's from.
I
you
don't
said
know.
the marches.
I don't have a clue.
Bryce Caron, that's just, I don't know why they call him that, of the Marches. He's must be from like the Dornish
Okay.
Marches. The Marches normally mean, like, I think, an area right above, like, Northern Dorne.
Okay.
One person that Penrose doesn't recognize.
Melisandre. Well, he does call out well met to Davos, which is interesting. Like, he
Well,
kind of insults
I mean-
everybody, says, well met Davos, never really seen you before, but I know who you are, and I don't know who
Yeah.
the fuck this lady is.
He probably got saved by Davos before. He was probably in the castle.
He might have
when
been.
Davos
That's a
showed
good
up.
call. That's
I
a
mean,
good
it's a
call.
pretty easy call. How did you
yeah,
not
you
think
saved
of
my
that?
life, dude. You're cool.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, it's just known that Davos saved everyone by, like,
Well, yeah, they definitely he knows who Davos is for sure, but like whether he was safe for him or not, I'm not sure. He seems like he was at Storm's End a while ago when Renly was there, but whether he was there when Stannis was there, I don't know.
let's also be clear that everybody else is, in his mind, a turncloak, and Davos hasn't turned cloak. So just like Davos has respect for him
Yeah,
for being kind of
exactly.
faithful, Davos is that to Stannis. So it's kind of like, all right, like, good. At least you're faithful too. So
That makes sense. I see that, Jeff.
Yep. So he doesn't know Mel, and she's basically like introduces herself. I'm Melisandre. I like the Lord of Light. He's my dude.
You're the king and the Lord of Light.
He's pretty much fuck your gods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I bow to other
your
gods
king.
in a different king. And Alistair Florent, butt kisser, speaks up again. There is only one true god and one true king, right? So again, he's like one of the foremost queensmen. He's all in on this one god already.
Is there two Florence or just one?
Just one, same guy.
Just one. All right, same guy.
He mentions that Axel Florent, who we've seen in the first Davos chapter, is still at Dragonstone.
He's at Dragonstone.
He's still at Dragonstone with
He
Selyse.
is an actual Queensman.
Yeah.
This guy is like trying to be.
He's the new one. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Penrose is like, man, I didn't know we were out here debating religion. Like, I would have brought the Septon if you needed that.
That's a
I'm
great
not here
line.
for that.
That's a good line. He's got a bunch of them.
Yeah. He's like, you know why we're here. I've given you a fortnight to consider my offer. You've sent your ravens, and we've heard about this, right? Even Kat got a raven when she heard about the raven when she got to River Run. So these ravens have gone out. He's like, Stan's like, you've got no help, and you're not going to get any. He's like, it's time to face the music. What's the deal?
Time to nut up or shut up, bro. Either get out of there, give me the boy, or I'm gonna kill you and everyone in there.
So another thing that Stannis says is like, all right, you give it up, like I'll pardon your treasons, allow your men to join our ranks, or leave with as much as they can carry, but no horse or pack mules allowed to go with them. So that would suck, dick.
And it seems like Courtney's almost like cool with this. He's like, what about? He's like, okay, but what about?
Sure.
And the boy, like Glow said,
Yeah.
He comes
What
with
about
me.
the boy? And Stannis is like, I need him, man. Sorry.
What do you think he needs him for, Kyle?
I mean, I think it obviously is tied to proving his point here, but I think Melisandre is going to try and do like DNA testing. Game of Thrones DNA testing, you know.
I like that call. It's a good guy.
So they get into. Is this when they get into the boy right here?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what of Edric Storm? And he said, my brother's bastard must be surrendered to me.
But there's a point where someone like speaks up and says like, if you don't like, we're not going to hurt the boy.
Florent.
Is that right
Florent,
here?
it's next. Yeah, it's next.
Yeah, it's right here.
All right. So Stannis is like, I need him. Penrose is like, nope. And this is when Florent steps up and he's like, look. One, he's Stannis' blood, and he's my blood, because the mom was a Florent, too.
Yeah.
Right? So he's like, look, we're not doing this to harm him. We just
He's like, no harm will come to him.
Need him.
Yeah,
We just
Alistair's
need him.
niece was the mother. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Need him.
And he's like,
Yeah.
he's like, trust me. He's like, even if you don't trust Stannis, trust me. You know me for a man of honor. And Courtney, I know you for a man of ambition, a man who changes kings and gods the way I change my boots, as do these other turncloaks I see before me. So
dun
like,
dun dun.
I mean,
Ba-no-tsh.
fuck you. Yeah, except for Davos and Mel. I don't know her.
Well, he was like, except for Davos.
Yeah. Davos is like, yeah.
Everybody gets pissed. Davos is like, I mean, he's got a point. Like, it's like everybody else was Renly's. They were just there fucking trying to figure out how to murder Stannis and his whole army, and now here they are standing next to him at a parlay.
Bryce Caron comes up with a good point, though.
He's still wearing his cloak. First off, he's still
Yeah,
wearing
that's
his
a little
rainbow
weird.
cloak.
Take your rainbow cloak off.
Yeah.
The rainbow.
And
He's dead. Come on.
That is kind of weird.
So what's he say?
He says, I belong to Storm's End. And right now,
Yeah.
that's Stannis.
And I'm surprised that Stannis like lets this go. And this seems like something that Stannis wouldn't even let somebody say, that like he is Renly's heir, right? He says Stannis is now Robert's heir and Renly's heir, right? So he's like, either way, even if you were for Renly, now you're still for Storm's End.
For Storm's End.
Okay,
I
for
think
Storm's.
he's
Okay,
saying.
gotcha. Directly for
For
Storm's End.
Storm's End, he's-
And I guess that makes sense because Robert gave it.
Because
yeah,
Robert
that makes
gave it
sense.
to.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess you can kind of see like Bryce Caron as not really turning his cloak if he's really if that's like where his ambition was intention was the whole time.
I feel like that's a good cover
ambition
story.
was part of it. Yeah,
It was just a loophole. Good loophole.
So this is another good quote by Penrose, right? When he says that, if that's so, where is the Knight of Flower? Why is the Knight of Flowers not among you? Where is Mathis Rowan, Randall Tarley, Lady Oakhart? Why are they not here in your company? Those who loved Renly best. Where is Brienne of Tarth? I ask you. So Penrose knows Renly's inner circle. So
They're all over the place.
one thing I will point out, I went back and read the Renly death scene when I was taking notes on this. Mathis Rowan and Randall Tarley are both in the room, like right before he dies. Cat walks in, he sends them away when he talks to Cat.
He's getting counsel.
But
right?
like these two of the people here. I mean, we know the Knight of Flowers is like up there, and we know Brienne loves him, right? We know both those guys love him. But even these three who were not, were like, are they really like does he really love him more than the Florent guy did? Well, he was in the council chamber like moments before his death, moments before the battle. So probably, right? From what we know, it seems like they actually did.
Yeah.
So Guyard laughs at that, and he's like, "You think Brienne loved him? She's the one that killed him."
He's like, fuck out of here. Everyone knows from the moment she saw him. And she grew up with him, right? Like, he knows.
Yeah.
He's known her since she was a kid. He was like, she fucking fell in love with him. Or not, I don't know where, but he mentions that he knew her as a child.
He only saw her as a child, yeah.
And he's like, everyone could tell that the moment she looked at him, she was in love with him.
A blind man could see it.
Oh, but... murderous rage, a scorned
the
lover.
first time a maid killed a man who had spurned her.
Yeah,
that's what. So again, this is Florent, Mr. Butt Kisser.
But I think it was actually Kat that did it myself. So I mean, I don't really give a shit about your Brienne theories because it was Kat.
Yep.
No problem, just tossing Kat under the bus. And then Penrose comes out the two rainbow guards. Fuck you two fucks.
Quote:
"It was Brienne,"
insisted Lord Karen.
"Sir Emmond Kai swore as much before he died. You have my oath on that one, Sir Courtney."
Contempt thickens Sir Courtney's voice.
"And what is that worth? You wear your cloak of many colors, I see. The one Renly gave you when you swore your oath to protect him. If he is dead, how is it you are not?"
He turned his scorn on Guyard Morrigan.
"I might ask the same of you, Guyard the Green, yes. Of the Rainbow Guard? Sworn to give his own life for his kings? If I had such a cloak, I would be ashamed to wear it."
Morgan bristled.
Be glad this is a parlay, Penrose, or I would have your tongue for those words.
"And cast it in the same fire where you left your manhood?"
Enough, Stannis said. The Lord of Light willed that my brother die for his treason. Who did the deed matters not.
"Not to you, perhaps,"
said Sir Courtney.
"I have heard your proposal, Lord Stannis. Now here's mine.
He pulled off his glove and flung it full in the king's face.
Single combat, sword, lance, or any weapons you care to name. Or if you fear to hazard your magic sword and royal skin against an old man, name you a champion. I shall do the same."
He gave Guyard Morgan and Bryce Karen a scathing look.
"Either of these pups would do nicely, I should think."
Sir Guyard Morgan grew dark with fury.
I will take up the gauge if it please the king.
"As would I."
Bryce Karen looked at Stannis. The king ground his teeth. No. Sir Courtney did not seem surprised.
"Is the justice of your cause you doubt, my lord, or the strength of your arm? Are you afraid I'll piss on your burning sword and put it out?"
Do you take me for an utter fool, sir? Asked Stannis. I have 20,000 men. You are besieged by land and sea. Why should I choose single combat when my eventual victory is certain? The king pointed a finger at him. I give you fair warning. If you force me to take my castle by storm, you may expect no mercy. I will hang you for traitors, every one of you.
"As the gods will it. Bring on your storm, my lord, and recall, if you do, the name of this castle."
And then he just dips out. So, I mean, I feel like...
the only big thing is
absolute
here.
savage.
Yeah, but like, why? Like, I don't know. Maybe this guy's a good fighter. I have no clue. But
He's saying he's not.
just throwing. All right, so you're throwing then less than a fit. Like, Stannis is known to be a pretty good warrior, right? So
Well,
you're
good
challenging
commander.
a guy who likes to fight. I mean, I don't know. You would think that he
not
fought in
saying he's
Rob's
not.
rebellion. No, or
You wanna know why he's doing this? Because it'll save everybody inside. He'll still die with honor,
I
or
agree
he'll
with
win
Cal.
with honor. It's his
Yeah.
only opportunity out.
okay, but let's
essentially.
just put it this way.
I agree
Like,
with Cal.
all right, you sit in the castle. You've got enough. They said to at least last a year. See who wins this war or who starts to win. Maybe someone comes knocking on Storm's End at some point. Like, you're in really no rush until you're starting to eat dead people and rats.
Yeah, but you
Like,
don't
be-
want to be
get-
sieged for a year. That sounds like no fun, my man.
Yeah,
For
you're trying to
sure.
avoid that, I'd say.
All right,
They don't have the onion.
but
on
he's
their
like,
side
"Fuck it, I'll
anymore.
die
Yeah.
instead."
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
kind of with Jeff on this one. Like, the seemingly
What's his
the
other
best
option?
logical option
Guess
is
I'll
just do what Jeff
die.
says. Just be
Get-
like,
Get
just,
besieged. Like, maybe somebody comes. Maybe somebody's on their way.
well, or just hope that like some people are trying to convince Stannis, like, yo, this doesn't matter. Just go to King's Landing. If you win that, then it comes to you anyway.
Yeah.
Like, if that happens, then maybe Penrose can do some deals. Like, if he has some money, get some cell swords or something. You know what I mean? Like, there might be options for him if that happens.
I think Penrose is too honorable here. I think he's trying to do right by everybody, essentially.
I'm on Kial's side for this one.
Yeah, maybe, but I'm just
he's
like
trying to
I don't
show
think
his
it's
worth, show his loyalty to this place. And
I think
to
the other
king.
thing could be is he's trying to show like, all right, like you're not willing to fight Stannis. Like, what do you mean? Like you're like
Trying to make him look
that's
bad.
kind of pussy. Yeah, you're a pussy, Stannis. Like maybe some muttering starts going on in their ranks because we know they're already very not that they're not honorable, but they switch very quickly. So
Didn't Jamie do this to Rob after the Whispering Wood? At least definitely in the show. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's in the books too.
I think it is.
They bring up Jamie. He's like 1v1. And he's like, why? Like,
Why?
I'm not gonna win that.
And you're captured.
And I have you captured. Yeah, it's just like a bad deal right now. So that kind of, I feel like that's kind of what Stannis' answer is too. Right? We're just like, why? I don't need to risk that. Like, there's a chance. Like Kyle's saying, there's a chance you win there. So yeah.
It's like, look at Tyrion, right?
What about him?
Yeah.
That's how he got out.
Oh yeah, the 1v1. Yeah,
He was fucked.
Yeah, he was fucked. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to risk it.
So I mean, either he ends up dead because it doesn't work, which is where he already was.
Yep.
Or
I don't think he's already dead. Like you can be sieged and not die.
I think
nothing's saying that their siege is
stacked.
gonna be
if
successful.
you listen to Melisandre here, she's saying, yeah, he's going to die no matter what.
Well, we're getting to a whole different point.
Yeah.
That's why Stannis doesn't really give a fuck. But before we know that, like to this point, like that's why Stannis says no because he's like, fuck it, he's gonna die anyway. Like I don't need to fight him.
Yeah.
But
as Stannis pulls away, like
but he brought up single combat. Stannis didn't. So it's like, why would Courtney? That's the whole point of the conversation. But all right, Lord started to give him counsel on what the fuck to do.
And they're basically talking about the single combat. They're like, yeah, let's fucking do it. Right.
Yeah, let's kick this guy's ass. Like any of these fucks can beat him up.
Yeah, he's like our cause is righteous. The gods must bless our champion's arm. This is Estermont speaking, and Davos is like, don't say gods.
Say gods.
Not supposed to say
What are
that
you doing,
anymore.
brother?
Somebody calls him out.
I will say Davos
or is
does
that
this.
just Davos's
Davos
mind?
does this later on too.
Yeah.
We'll says gods by accident. I think. I'll bring it up when we get there. But
I don't remember it getting called out when he doesn't.
it doesn't get called out, but I think it kind of gets called out. We'll get there.
No one calls him out. Davos is just thinking about it.
Stannis,
And also,
Stannis
Davos still believes in the seven. He hasn't given in.
Stannis tells everyone to shut up, and then he rides off and brings Davos and Melisandre ahead of the crowd.
Everyone's staring at Davos as he rides by. He's like,
which says a lot about both Davos and Melisandre, I'd say. Like, I mean, they're obviously the number ones, right? Like, he's got this whole army full of like rich dudes that are supposed to be like sworn loyalty to him, but he still likes the Onion Knight and this lady.
Yeah, I think it says a lot about Stannis, and it also says like, all right, like you fucks just got here, like shut the fuck up. Like,
it's also kind of funny. It reminds me of the Tyrion, right? In the last Tyrion chapter, wasn't Tyrion like my two most trusted counselors are a sellsword and a eunuch, and my lady's a whore? Here, Stannis is like my two most trusted counselors are a smuggler and like a whatever the fuck Melisandre is.
Red woman witch.
What does that say about me? Yeah, so. The one thing I will say that we skipped over is right before Stannis calls Davos and Mel to be by themselves, he shuts everyone up. He's like, shut the fuck up. You guys talk too much, chatter like magpies. I don't want any part of it. And Davos thinks to himself like, I bet you Renly never did that. And we never saw Renly do that, right? When they had difference of opinion, Renly's like, oh, I'm sure all your ideas would work, right? But we're going to go with this one.
Go with this one.
Stannis is like, shut the fuck up. You're all stupid. I don't want to hear it. You two come with me. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I need actual counselors. Come on.
Yeah, not quite as tactful. Stannis doesn't have the bedside manner, I would say. Has no bedside manner. Right?
Yeah, and I think we talked about that when we talked about who would make a better king when we had a discussion on that a while ago, and that was kind of why. Like, Stannis is gruff and abrasive.
Even now, Kyle, like, Renly's dead. There's still a huge, like, divide in the fandom between, like, Renly versus Stannis fans. Like, Renly would have been better. No, Stannis is the rightful king. And I don't know. I just love all the Baratheons. I
mean, the rightful king and being better are two different things.
100%.
They're all badass.
I agree with you there, Kial. Yeah, so Stannis and Melisandre are riding... I don't know if it's right next to her.
I don't know if Melisandre is really right there. If she's really close.
She is.
He calls her along, but she doesn't really say anything the entire time. There's like one line.
Just like, one thing. Like, oh,
she's carrying the banner,
he tells
right?
you the truth.
Yeah.
She is carrying the banner.
Yeah, she is carrying the banner.
I think she's right there.
All right, Davos, what do you think of Penrose? That's like the first question he asks is, Davos, what do you think?
Yeah. And Davos wanted to be careful and watch his tongue, so he basically just like, he was stubborn. He just leaves it at that.
Dude.
Hungry for death, I call it.
Yeah, he's trying to throw his own life away along with every man's in that castle.
Single combat. What does he think I am, Robert?
What do you think I am, Robert?
And exactly right here, Davos says what I was saying earlier. It's like he's desperate. What
Exactly.
other option does he have?
Yeah.
He's backed into a corner here. Like, this is the smartest play. So even Stannis accepts, like he understands why he did it. He's like, but fuck off, because it's not my smartest play. Maybe your smartest play, but it's not mine.
We don't have to re-have the conversation, but I do think that Jeff's right here. It's not the only play. You can still just hunker down for a siege, right? It might be
Well,
more
that's
honorable, but
I
it's
don't
not the
think-
only one.
I don't think that's the
We don't have
smartest
to
thing
rehash
for
it, but
Stannis to do. I'm saying Courtney could easily sit behind
yeah,
the wall.
I'm with you. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stannis, I'm saying unless you have a fucking creature, you're kind of fucked here. Like
yeah, unless you're
single
Stannis,
combat would have
you
been your
whatever you turned out
single
to have.
combat is probably Stannis's best option out. But
You
Yeah,
think
let's
so? You
yeah,
think the roles are reversed?
yeah, absolutely. Stannis, go kill this fucking guy.
You're just saying if what happens at the end of the chapter isn't an option, right?
Yeah, if Shadow,
I know.
if the creature is not a thing, Stannis doesn't want to climb the walls and doesn't want to siege for a year because he's trying to fight a war. The single combat
But
is easily the best
Stannis
thing for
gives
Stannis.
Too much of a shit about this place.
I think the best option is leave this in your rear view.
Later, he doesn't want to.
Sure, but we know he's not. All right, so we know he's not going to leave it. So then you have the three
If he-
options: climb the wall, siege it, or single combat.
Yeah.
Single
And
combat's
why
easily
wouldn't
the
he
best
siege
one
it?
because it's going to take him a long time. He's trying to win a
He
war.
doesn't give a shit.
People are going to forget about him.
That shit'll be over there when he's he doesn't give a shit.
He gets into why he can't siege it. We'll keep going.
All right,
So Alistair has this idea that's kind of fucked up. Alistair,
let's get young Penrose and
Oh,
old
man,
Penrose.
Daddy
Yeah.
Penrose, and
Grandpa
hang him in front of
Penrose.
Courtney.
yeah, use him as leverage. He's like, what do you
Pretty
think?
fucked up.
What do you think of that? And Davos was like, well, I met him. Remember when you sent me around to try and win all these lords over? He was
Yeah.
one of the nicer ones, and he's like sick
He's
and
dead.
he's like all fucked up. Like,
He's pretty much dying.
Yeah.
He's like Cat's dad.
He might die on
Yeah.
the trip there.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure they'd still.
I don't know if he's as bad
Alice-
as Cat's dad, but yeah, he's not in great shape.
Florent would
Sickly
probably
and
still
failing,
hang
it
him.
says.
He'd probably still hang him like a dead body, just like, oh yeah, look what we did to your dad too, and he's been dead for like weeks.
Yeah. So he's like, well, Alistair would have him fail more quickly and openly in the sight of the castle. And what's Davos' thought on that?
He's not gonna fucking fold.
It's like I think that's stupid.
He's like, that's only going to strengthen his cause.
Well, he's not going to do anything. Penrose is too honorable. He's not going to yield the castle for his dying father, and just going to make us look like assholes, basically. It's going to dishonor the cause. And Stannis says, how is it dishonorable to kill traitors?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, see that whole group of people behind side you right there, Stannis?
You've kind of done it.
Yeah. And Stannis like, why
Already,
do you
yeah.
hold Penrose in higher esteem than all my lord's bannermen? He's like, he
And
keeps
this
faith.
is what I got to earlier.
Yeah.
Billy Joel.
Disrespect
Keeping
him.
Billy Joel.
the faith.
Keep the
What?
faith.
It's a Billy Joel song. Have you in Talladega Nights when he's like, we're only strictly 80s Joel, and they're like, Piano Man. It's like, no, only 80s. Keeping the Faith is like one of the 80s songs that they play. That's in that movie. I'm a huge Billy Joel fan for those out there. That's why I know that.
And he's like, well, he's keeping the faith on the wrong fucking dude, and he's dead, and like, why does he give a shit? He's like, or why does that matter to you, rather?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, he's still there.
He stands behind what he believes in, basically, is what Davos says. And
And he's like, as the people behind us don't. And Davos is
year.
like, well, fuck it. I've already said this much.
I'm already dug my hole. I might as well
so what's he
just
say,
keep
Kyle?
digging.
You got it right there.
He said, last year they were Robert's men. Moon ago they were Renly's. Now they're yours. Like, do you not see the pattern here?
What about tomorrow? Yeah. And Stannis looks at this is where Mel gets into it. He's like, didn't I tell you he was gonna just spit straight facts at me? You got to trust Davos to always spit straight
Oh, yeah, and
facts.
Stannis
No
loves
cap
it.
with no cap with
That's
Davos.
the best
No
part.
cap.
Is like, Stannis is like, hell yeah, man. Like, you're right. That's why I have you here.
They just call him no cap Davos. He's spitting facts every time.
I like Stannis and Davos' relationship.
I
and
feel
that
like
they're-
Yeah.
I feel like Stannis is really real here. He's not very
yeah.
real, like just
He's
down to
not
earth.
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
how
he didn't want to
works
stick
or
up his
anything like
ass.
that.
Yeah.
I feel like if he maybe showed this side to more people, he'd probably be more well liked.
He tells Davos he misses him right here.
100%.
This is like I
Yeah.
think this might be the nicest thing we've ever heard Stannis say. I mean, we haven't heard Stannis say much, but like
Yeah.
this doesn't seem like something Stannis would say. You know what I mean? Like, I missed you, Davos. Just like something so like
I missed you, bud.
casual, just like not Stannis though.
He's like, you're right. I got to tail the traitors. You're not wrong. Bannermans are inconstant, even in their own treasons. Like, I need them though, and it sickens me. Same as when I punished you or punished better men for lesser crimes. Pretty much. I think he was trying to say.
Basically, I punished you.
You have every right to talk shit on me for this, Davos, because I cut your fingers off.
Yeah, and Davos, he doesn't even say because I cut your fingers off, but Davos grabs the finger bones at his neck.
No. He says, you have every right to reproach me, Sir Davos. And he says, you reproach yourself more than I ever could, Your Grace. You must have these great lords to win your throne. And he says, fingers and all.
Fingers and all, it seems, yeah.
And he smiles. And that's when Davos touches his
yep, you're right, yep. Fingers and all, it seems.
And then he asks him if he still has his fingers.
Yeah, he says, why do you still have them? Because I think he sees Davos. Davos touches his pouch around his neck.
Yeah.
And he's like, why do you keep them? And he's like, it reminds me where I came from and of your justice.
I think it's a great Stannis line, yeah.
It was justice. A good act does not wash out the bad, nor a bad act the good. Each should have its own reward. You were a hero and a smuggler. These pardoned lords would do well to reflect on that. Good men and true will fight for Joffrey, wrongly believe in him the true king. A Northman might say the same for Robb Stark. But these lords who flocked to my brother's banner knew him for a usurper. They turned their backs on their rightful king for no better reason than dreams of power and glory, and I have mocked them for what they are. Pardon them, yes. Forgiven, but not forgotten. So, Kyle, do you think we'll get a prediction here? It doesn't have to be super immediate, but we got 3 books ahead of us where we know some stuff that you don't.
Only 3?
3 more? Yeah.
3 1/3.
There's only 5 books out?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
How many do you think
7
there were?
For some reason.
That's how many
There's
there's supposed to be
7.
total. I think there's going to be 8 total, but there's supposed to be 7 total.
I think
thought
that's going to be
7 was
5.
out.
I think they're done.
Was the
The
next
greatest story never finished.
That's crazy that we've been doing this for years at this point and you don't know how many books there are.
Well, I've been trying
That is pretty crazy.
I've still been trying not to pay attention to any of this stuff, right? Like, I'm trying to stay loyal to the podcast.
You're the Sir Penrose of this podcast.
I would just think that
Kyle.
when you like went to grab the book off the shelf to read it, you'd be like, there's 5 of these.
Well, no, so like, I think they're in a box set box, and I pull one out and then I stick it on my own shelf
Gotcha.
back here. So it's
Yeah.
only ever the one sitting here. So
Yeah, I do
don't-
the same. Yeah. The rest of them are just over there. Yep.
Same. I do the same.
The question, does Stannis says it's forgiven but not forgotten. Does he ever like chop all these guys, like be like, you know what? You guys fucked up one day.
Fingers
Hands,
me.
everyone hands, fingers.
I mean, it could happen.
I mean,
I don't think
he
it's
chopped
gonna.
off Davos's fingers.
I don't
'cause he
mean
was
that
a-
exactly.
'cause he
Like,
was a
does
thief.
Stannis ever do anything to make these guys?
Traitors would be heads.
I don't think it's going to be good enough.
Yeah, it's very
I don't
true.
think it'll be
It's very
comparable.
true.
Is what I would say.
Jeffrey.
I don't think it'll ever be the same ratio because there's too many of them, right? And they're gonna if he wins, they're gonna do too much for him along the way. I mean, I know Davos did the same thing, but
Yeah.
Davos will get
like he just delivered onions. These guys are gonna be out there
King's
killing
Landing.
people and sacrificing men and actually dying potentially. So I don't know.
But if you're talking about who impacted it more, Davos impacted Stannis's every like life story more than any single one of these people.
Directly, yeah, I'd agree.
Again, we don't have to linger on it.
But we haven't seen the end of this war yet. One of these guys could, save Stannis' life from a ghost shadow
It's true.
baby or something. Who knows?
It's kind of like the group like the group thing, like where you got too many people, you can't. It's hard to charge them all.
Yeah.
They all deserve to be charged for sure.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, we don't got to linger on it.
All right.
So Stannis is like, all right, what's the news? What are the small folks saying about Renly's death? I wonder if
did.
Davos is like, well, like, do they know what's going on? I think, like, we'll see. But, like, Davos is like, he was well loved. They grieve him. Fools love a fool. That's what Stannis says.
But I'm sad about it too.
But yeah, I agree.
He's like, but
I
I'm
agree
sad
there.
about the old shit. This new stuff, he deserved it.
Yeah. How he was, not who he became.
I think we
Yeah.
see a little bit into why, like, because of the nightmares and shit like that, because of the we find out. I don't want to get too much into it, but
Some selfish reasons.
I don't know if he actually grieved until he fucking is like afraid of this nightmare or whatever dream he fucking had.
Because he didn't seem to care a while ago. You're right. Like with the first time, and maybe it was even the Maester when he was out there talking about having to kill his brother.
Yeah.
And like, he's like, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to do it.
Yeah.
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 Maybe if he just like cut him down too with a sword, he'd feel the same way. Like he'd grieve
True.
afterwards. But
If it was a respectable,
he probably would still feel that way. All right. What about the news of the incest?
It's like while I was there, it was all Stannis. Who raw Stannis? But who knows what the fuck once I left. And also some places when I got there was another tale that was being spread beforehand. He's like, yeah, I know. Fucking Patchface and Maid Shireen, like Patchface and my wife. Patchface is my daughter's father. Was like the story that they spread, right? I heard this came from Littlefinger's mouth, basically his idea. They spread it. Talked about that a little bit already.
counter rumor.
Yeah.
It was already spreading faster than in some of the places.
Yep.
Well, this one's more fun to tell, so people enjoy telling it, and it's just like, did Littlefinger say this, or was this Tyrion's like, oh well, we have to make it really outrageous so that people like to tell it?
I think they
Wasn't
were all
that
pretty much
someone's-
on board, but I think Littlefinger was the
I
mastermind
think
behind this one.
Littlefinger, came up with it.
I forgot this too, but Stannis says that Renly was the one that told him. He's like, yeah, Renly mentioned this like when I met with him when Kat was there in that Kat
I
chapter.
forgot that too.
And he's like, you'd have to be as mad as Patchface to believe it, though. Like, there's no way it's true.
Great metaphor coming up too.
Well, it just poisoned the well. So essentially, it made other claims ridiculous as well because there's already this conspiracy out there.
And again, I feel like this is exactly what Laura
That's
said.
like what they wanted.
Or not Loras. This is exactly what Littlefinger said.
Yeah, that was the point.
Yeah.
Exactly. It
The
was
more
just to
outrageous, the
dilute
better.
water.
And
Yeah,
I think they said the more outrageous, the more they're going to want to talk about it. Is I think what Littlefinger said. So he's like, just go crazier than incest.
That's what I was
Yeah,
getting to.
Okay.
Yeah, the funny metaphor. Do you want me to say it in your Stannis deal? Say it, Nels.
Robert could piss in a cup and men would call it wine, but I offer them pure cold water and they squint in suspicion and mutter to each other about how queer it tastes. If someone said I had magicked myself into a boar to kill Robert, likely they would believe that as well. Like,
Well, he knows he's unliked.
well, hold on. Let's talk about this fucking. We've
Is
been kind
all
of
this
pitter
because
pattering
he's
around the
unliked?
shadow thing the whole time. Like, what's going on with the shadow? Kyle, let's get your take on the shadow, right? Like, we'll jump
Yeah, Kyle,
jump
what's
ahead
your
as far
take?
as you want. Like, Stannis
which
talks
shadow?
about his dream. I mean, I
That's
feel
why
like we
didn't
kind of
talk
got
about the shadow yet.
because I feel like it's similar to what he said. It's like this is like, very similar, right?
I mean, it is what happened exactly. Yeah, I mean, he just kind of blows his own cover.
Magicked himself
essentially.
into a boar and killed his brother. Like he got magicked into a shadow and killed his brother, right?
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
he kind of talks about what
But
experience he had when he was.
nobody believes that story. They all think it's Brienne or Kat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very
I mean, I
true.
guess it was mentioned that something fucking weird
Yeah.
happened, but that seems to be getting the least amount of traction.
You're right. That's yeah.
But like, there were no witnesses for that one either, which is like, I mean,
And the two people that know it, like we even said in the last Cat chapter, like she didn't tell anybody. She's just saying like, oh no, it wasn't us. But she's not offering like the actual
Yeah, you're right.
alternative.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
it
'cause
was
it's
this
just
freaky
fucking crazy.
shadow. You should have fucking seen it. It
true,
was
but like
insane.
Littlefinger says, the more absurd, the more likely it is to spread. So like at least say it so that it's out there
but
somewhere.
they're not scheming, and they're not Littlefinger. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why you're trying to hold them to the exact same standard as Littlefinger.
I'm not trying to. I'm
They're
just
not playing
pointing
the
it
game.
out. Yeah, I'm just pointing it out.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're not playing the game.
So then he's like, I'm going to get justice.
He's like, yeah, they'll stop talking. That's like no one will believe those tales though once you get vengeance on your brother's true killers. He's like, I know Cersei had something to do with Robert's death, and I'll have justice for him and Ned Stark and Jon Arryn. And when Davos asks about Renly, we get another cool quote from Stannis that I'm gonna read. I dream of it sometimes, of Renly dying, a green tent, candles, a woman screaming, and blood.
Stannis looked down at his hands.
I was still abed when he died. Your Devon will tell you. He tried to wake me. Dawn was nigh, and my lords were waiting, fretting. I should have been a horse, armored. I knew Renly would attack at break of day. Devon says I thrashed and cried out, but what does it matter? It was a dream. I was in my tent when Renly died, and when I woke, my hands were clean.
Sir Davos Seaworth could feel his phantom fingertips start to itch. Something is wrong here, the one-time smuggler thought. Yet he nodded and said,
I see.
Renly offered me a peach at our parley. Mocked me, defied me, threatened me, and offered me a peach. I thought he was drawing a blade and went for my own. Was that his purpose? To make me show fear? Or was it one of his pointless jests? When he spoke of how sweet the peach was, did his words have some hidden meaning?
The king gave a shake of his head, like a dog shaking a rabbit to snap its neck.
Only Renly could vex me so with a piece of fruit. He brought his doom on himself with his treason. But I did love him, Davos. I know that now. I swear I will go to my grave thinking of my brother's peach. So I this is just, again, like I said earlier, this is Stannis just being real. First off, Kyle, now you got to say it. We're there. You said you weren't ready. Now we're there, so you got to be ready now. Tell us what you think about that. But also, I just think like this is like one of the first real times like Stannis just being true to somebody about like.
I feel like it's the only time he's around someone that he can like talk to. You know?
Again, this is
the only person that he can be real with.
Who's Davos going to tell he doesn't have any friends? That's what we're saying.
But again, like I said, this is points to Davos' standing, right? He's getting Stannis. Stannis like has this, and he has to tell somebody, right? Like he's got that guilt and that feeling
Besides
inside, and he needs somebody to confide in. Melisandre already knows, but like that's not telling anybody, right? So so he has to tell somebody. Davos is who he picks. He even fucking shows Davos later, right?
What do you mean?
You know?
Kinda.
Like he
kinda. He could have given him some warning. He's like,
but like he shows Davos later exactly what happened. Like, that's how much he trusts him.
Yeah.
However, he's still kind of trying to lie and say it wasn't him, and I think this is like his guilt, right?
Yeah,
100%.
So he's trying to justify it to himself.
I don't know if he knows that the shadow is like him, right? Like
green
his
tent,
shadow,
candles, blood. Like he saw, like he's basically seeing through the eyes of this.
He
thing.
saw it
I
happen.
think he has
sure.
to know.
Well, he might be in huge denial then.
First off,
yes.
Think about like what's just like from Stannis' point of view. The first time this happens, like I'm sure Melisandre's like, "Yo, this is what's gonna happen." Like,
I don't
you
think
just
she
go to
tells him.
sleep. She doesn't say like this is what's gonna happen. She just like lets Stannis go to sleep, and he just. What if he would have like dreamed of going to Renly and be like, "Oh, I missed you." Like,
fuck it, he's dead.
I want some more peaches, brother.
I feel like there had to be a little bit of preemptive before this, but just I'm just saying,
you
like,
can get in here and kill Renly this way.
There's no way Stannis could have been expecting whatever experience he actually went through. You know what I mean?
I don't think
she's probably like, go to bed. When you wake up, Renly will be dead, and he like goes to bed and has this incredibly traumatic experience that he's like now like stricken over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just think that's like, well, fuck, you wanted him dead, like type thing. But
do what you ask.
So this is what the Fire Lord said. So yeah, I don't think she would have told him, but like I definitely think this is why I was like, he's grieving it more.
You don't think it's like a plan they worked on together at least a little bit beforehand?
Nope.
You don't think he knew anything was going to happen?
Nope. I think she saw it in the fire.
I'm just going to say, at the parlay, Renly and Stannis meet, and Stannis basically says something like, we'll see on the dawn, like come the dawn, we will see, or something, right? So at that point, just like at the Penrose meeting, Stannis already probably knew Renly's dead.
Maybe. I don't know when she saw it in the fire that he'd die.
But your point is Mel just said, "Oh, he's going to be dead. Don't worry about it."
Yeah, like I'll handle it.
She completely lied to him.
So then hold on. This time though,
This
time he can't think that he's not going to be involved though. This is the second time, right? So now she's doing it again. She's like, "Oh, he's just going to be dead. Don't worry, Courtney's
he's got to be learning.
Hold on,
he's catching on.
I'm sure he is worried. He hasn't slept. He still hasn't slept.
You think he's going to be chugging coffee tonight? You don't think he's going to be like chugging coffee to try and not go to sleep tonight?
No,
I was going to say. I'm going to tell you this second time he doesn't care. This time he's excited about it.
I don't know if he's excited about it. I just think
maybe not excited.
He knows that this is what he needs to do. So it's like, fuck, I need this guy dead. This is how we're going to do it. I don't have any other options. So this guy's dead by shadow creature. If I need to sleep and have a bad dream, fuck it. I need to win this throne. And this is how
that's kind of what I'm saying. Like he's for it, right? Like he's
not against it.
But he knows. I think he knows enough now to know that this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this goes back to like, if you don't have shadow creature, which he knows he does now, like he knows he has a means of killing this person in a magical way.
Yeah.
I don't know if he knows that it's his shadow or not, or that he kind of like lived it through a dream. I don't know, and I really don't care. I don't think it matters. But if he didn't have this, if he wasn't on board with this, he would just fight him single combat and win. Or lose.
I don't know if I'm on that, but okay.
Or he would siege him for over a year, but I mean he's not doing that. So all right, they get back to their pavilion.
So can I ask you guys something? And maybe you can't answer, and that's why that's the only thing I hate about this podcast, because I have questions for you guys I wish you could answer. But the peach, like, does the peach have any meaning?
There's not that we know.
I don't have a fucking clue, Kyle.
This is the end of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is the end of it. There's a lot of theories about it. But
and so then I can ask you a question. What do you think it is?
So I feel like we talked about this in the last one.
I mean, can you get however far you can get into that without spoiling?
I feel like the Renly Stannis parlay chapter was a chapter we did without Glow. Is that correct? For some reason I feel like Glow had to miss that one. I feel like that was one of the, like you missed the Duncan Egg one, I think. If I think that was the only like other chapter you missed. But I think like we talked about it a little bit in the non-spoiler section as well as a little bit in the spoiler section. But I think there's not really much. I think Peach is just like I think that like what most people I think in the fandom is just like the peach is more like a symbol for just like seizing like the joy in life. And Renly was not afraid to do whatever the fuck, like have fun, fuck people, like he wasn't like horn around like Robert.
It wasn't Renly's meaning. That was George's meaning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Which is fine. So like, yeah. So then Renly, you don't think Renly had any meaning then?
This is
he
theories.
was just freewheeling it, and he was, yeah.
Well, no, again,
So here, have a peach.
people think that Renly kind of meant the same thing. Like Stannis, just like enjoy life every once in a while. Like don't have a stick up your ass. Like don't be so like, this is mine. This is what's right. Like we can chill here. Like I'll give you Storm's End. We can both have a good life. I'll be king. You can have what you've always wanted, right? If Robert never dies, the only thing you ever wanted is Storm's End. You can have that and have everything you ever wanted, right? Just pretend Robert didn't die and you can just enjoy life, right?
It's not what I want. It's what I deserve.
Exactly.
I
I think the main theory is, or again, whether it's a theory or just, I don't know if you call this a theory, it's just discussion on what that means is Renly is just more of that guy. He's just like, he's going to enjoy life. And he's just telling Stannis, that's kind of his argument. He's trying to win over Stannis, right, in that. But that's his argument is like, you can let me be king and things can still be great for you. But Stannis just isn't gonna, like, if the roles were switched, right, and Renly was where Stannis was and had a less army, and Stannis was like, yo, dude, just take Storm's End, I'll give you a great deal, Renly might be like, yeah, you know what, okay, that's not bad, I'm probably gonna die otherwise.
Yeah, maybe
But
if he
Stannis
didn't
is just
think he already thought that
unmoving.
Stannis was gonna be a shitty king, so that's why he ran for king. I still say it like it's a democracy.
And I think the importance of that Stannis monologue here, which is again the one that I read is a really big, like, fans love this monologue, is because Stannis still doesn't understand that. Like, he still doesn't understand that Renly was just saying, like, enjoy life. Like, Stannis is just going to do his duty forever and never enjoy life, right? He's just going to
I believe it, yeah.
do his role. It's kind of what people think this kind of means. Yep, so...
I wonder about the peach. I hope the peach means more. I hope someone just, like, throws a peach at somebody's face. I don't remember, but I hope it means more.
Well, there's a few other times I think in the story that like Peach is a reference. This might be in the future, but like it's always like it's normally like a happy one. I think even it's happened once already with like Jorah and Dany when they're in Days to Laura, when they've been walking through the Red Waste and they find like peach trees, and Jorah brings her a peach and he's like, "You've never tasted a peach so sweet," and just like, let's enjoy this like moment. Like we've just been gone through hell. Let's just take what we have right now and just enjoy it, right? So I think peaches show up, and it's always kind of that same thing. But yeah, let's get into the pavilion. First thing, opposite of like most pavilion, like the Renly pavilion at least, it's not fancy.
Basic as fuck.
Yeah.
Super
Bare
small.
essentials.
A bed, his armor, and a war table.
Yeah. It basically says, Davos, I might make you a lord one day just to piss off these other fuckers because they kind of piss me off. You're not going to like it though, because then you're going to have to do the stupid councils that I'm about to have, and just feign interest in the brain of mules is what Stannis says. And he has this whole like mule analogy for all his lords.
And something that would not flow on this podcast. Bring us our waters.
Yep. He's got Davos'
give
son,
me only
Squire.
water, please.
Just water. We don't do that.
Some salt.
With some fucking salt.
Electrolytes.
With salt.
dude.
That's super weird.
I'm just saying, for our fans out there who are making fun of us for drinking low percent, I'm going to say I got COVID right now. I'm powering through still drinking whiskey because we don't drink water on the
'cause he's an
podcast.
idiot. I do not condone that.
He's
For the record.
he's on the back nine of COVID.
I'm
I
sick
am.
the-
I'm getting better.
He's on the back nine of COVID.
Yeah, I'm getting better.
You meant the back nine of COVID.
COVID, yeah.
But you meant he was dying anyway. Fuck it.
No, I think he's close. He might be close to the turn, but all right. The best part about the mule. The best part about the mule,
Hold on, real
like
quick.
comparing the
I don't
mules.
want to linger too long on it, but Stannis drinks fucking salt in his water. What the fuck?
I don't think that's.
Dude,
I don't think
where
that's.
were you, Nelson, 5 seconds ago when this was
I know. I just
brought
wanted to
up?
go back to it.
I
But
think people actually do this. though.
Electrolytes.
It's a thing.
what I think is weird though is Davos is the sea guy. You'd think Davos would be.
I don't think it's
Or maybe I guess
for.
he just wants fresh water whenever he can because he hates. I mean, but like, doesn't Theon's uncle like drink salt water because he's like so? I
drinks
love the
fucking
sea
Yeah, I
so
mean,
much.
he drinks like actual seawater, not like fucking-
That's
not a
awful.
little pinch
Not
of salt
dinner
in your
salt.
fucking-
Well, I don't think he drinks a lot, but he like will do it. Like I think he did it like once or twice. Like
Okay. I mean, I could, maybe like a sip of it, but it would still suck, right?
Like, he made Theon drink it too when he like poured it on his head.
Yeah.
The best part about the council is that he's like, look, these stupid fucks, like, I know what everyone's going to say. I know Valerion's going to want me to climb the walls, and all the young guys will be like, fuck yeah, let's go climb the wall.
Yep.
Estermon's going to be like, hey, let's lay a siege and wait this bitch out. And
The old mules are patient for a siege.
everybody else would be like, let's just do the single combat. Like, we can all beat this guy up.
The mules that like to kick, would like the single combat. And Davos was like, well, if it's pointless, why do you have it? And he's like, well, because the mules like the sound of their own brain, and I need the mules to pull my cart.
Dude, his freaking analogies with the mules were on point.
Yeah, that's pretty good. He's like, Davos, what would you do? He's like, if this is what all my lords would suggest, what would you suggest? And like I said earlier, fuck Storm's End, go to King's Landing, and once you win there, you win. And they start talking about what else is going on like around here, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Tywin rushed west to rescue Lannisport from the Northmen. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, and then he also
that's the
mentions that
rumor
the
Davos
Dornish,
lays out, yeah.
and then does
The
Stannis at
Dornish
some
are on the
point?
coast, on their coastline.
Does Stannis say that, or does Davos say
Or
that?
not their border, I guess it would. Stannis, I believe, brings it up.
Well, no, I think he says that they're just called their banners, because like that's a lot. Again, I was trying to put this in the timeline. If they were on the border, that means Marcella's already got there. But that, like we said, that boat trip's way too long for Marcella to already be there, so they can't be on the borders. I mean, he kind of says like they're defending the marshes, but I think that just means like they're calling their banners to the houses in the marshes. I don't think they're like.
Which I thought
massing
that's
on the
what
border.
I thought Tyrion said that all
I
they've
think
done.
Tyrion was
Well, when I
telling them to do that.
But
Tyrion said all that they've done so far is to call their banners, and once Marcella is there, they will move north to
But what I
secure
said
the
was
border.
I wasn't sure what calling the banners means. Like, does that mean that you call, like, if the North calls their banners, does that mean everyone comes to Winterfell, or does that mean that like each, like,
I think so.
Karstark, Glover, Umber, they each say, okay, all my fighting men
Get
come
your
to
shit
me.
ready.
Come to me. Like, you wouldn't want all your entire army in one spot. You just say like you basically. I feel like call the banners would you tell all your vassals get your armies at your place, and then
Get
like
'em-
that
yeah.
way you can be like,
Get 'em
okay,
ready.
Manderley, you
I
go
think-
from White
yeah.
Harbor. That if you don't want to call Manderley to Winterfell, just to send him back to White Harbor to leave
Well,
by
they
the
definitely
ocean.
call them in to talk to the lords, right? Maybe gather your armies at home, and a couple of you come here. Or not a couple of you,
So
but
we
like a
can,
couple of each lord's
discuss
men.
what we're gonna do.
Yeah, like they're going to discuss plans, right? Like how else are you going to do that?
I think
You
it's
send
both.
Ravens.
I think
feel
it's
like Go
no.
ahead,
You
Jeff.
don't want to
Ravens
send
might
battle
take a
plans
while.
and Ravens. I don't think it's Ravens. This is what I think it
They
is.
have a
I think
war
it's
council.
mobilize your army. Tell everyone to get ready to mobilize. He brings his lord people, the council members, with a smaller host, so
Yeah.
that they're protected.
We
they
saw it happen in
come.
Winterfell.
They come to Sunspear. They have their bigger council. And then once the plans are out, depending on what it is, like Winterfell, it was like, look, we're going south. So you guys all might as well come here because we're meeting up to go south anyway, for the most part. I don't know if like the southmost ones brought their whole deal up. But if you're norther than us, yeah, bring your whole shit because we're going south. But
This is not
Like-
true. We know that when Kat went to the Eyrie, after she left the Eyrie, she went to White Harbor. Then she met up with Robb with the rest of the White Harbor men. She rode with the White Harbor men from White Harbor.
That's what
to
he's
meet
saying.
up-
If you're more south, you're gonna just meet up with us.
then it is more south. That's why the whole army wasn't at Winterfell.
Yeah,
I'm saying, like,
that's what he's
You
just
just
saying.
proved his point.
yeah,
okay,
you fucking
affirmed
idiot.
everything
Thanks,
else he said.
Maybe I missed you said when you said if they're more south. I thought you said they all go to Winterfell and you just go there together.
No, if you're coming from the north, like more
We'll
north.
carpool, guys.
Yeah, we'll carpool.
I got a bus. I
All right,
ran the
well,
bus.
Pay for this Uber, please.
Let's keep going.
They talk about why he's not leaving Storm's End, basically.
Yeah, we talked about that. I don't know what to cover. We covered that already, right?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
doesn't want to get attacked from behind. It means too much. He can't have a loss on his record. Like he has. It's super important that he finishes this mission.
Oh, he's also waiting on the rest of Renly's army to come, but he
Yeah.
fears that Loras has already got to him.
Interesting tidbit. Santa sends 2 people to go get these people from Bitterbridge. I don't know what it says in the book, but it's wrong in the book. Oh, it says Errol in the book. My sister's brother Errol. His sister
Wife's
doesn't.
brother.
My wife's brother Errol. His wife doesn't have a brother named Errol. He has a brother named Aaron. This is a typo by George. Didn't get picked up by the
Wow.
editors.
Come on, George.
This guy's real
George.
name is Aaron.
Is it still
ER
a typo? Like a newer publication would still be?
I have.
It says
Errol.
Errol. It says Errol in my book too. And I was like, that doesn't make sense because Errol is the last name, right? Like, there's Lord Errol is one of the other people. And I was like, wait, so her brother's first name is the same as another house's last name? Like, it's like naming your kid Lannister Stark. Like, that just doesn't make sense. You wouldn't do that. I just wanted to point that out that was, I don't know, North. I just want to point
Come
that
on.
out that
Come on,
weird typo
George,
by
be
George.
better.
And the other person that he sends is Sir Parman Crane. You know, the interesting thing about him is he was also in Renly's Kingsguard. He was the purple guy. He was outside. He was like outside the tent when Cat went in right before he died.
So no one likes him.
So
I don't remember that.
those are the two guys who went to Bitterbridge. Again, Stannis hasn't heard from them, just like Tyrion hasn't heard from Littlefinger, which again makes me think it's probably around similar timelines, like that these chapters are taking place, but not to get hung up on that.
Fair.
They hit the Dornish thing. Davos starts to talk about King's Landing again and starts to mention something about Salador Sand says, but Stannis is like, if you think I'm fucking taking advice from a Lyseni brigand, then like I'm gonna take the black. The day I take the advice from him is the day I take the black or something like that, right?
So I mean, I know he's like a pirate, pretty much, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But who is he? I remember meeting him before. Did Cat meet him or something?
No, I think Davos met him.
Davos knew
met
him.
him.
Yeah, so I think he's
When did he come up before? Is my question.
first Davos chapter.
The
Davos
first
went and
Davos
met him
chapter.
and met him in a.
I think San
Okay.
meets
In
him
a
before
bar,
he
in a
goes.
bar.
Is that before he walks up to the castle?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
What did he want from him? I do remember the bar thing now.
Basically,
With
he's
his
like, tell the
ships or
king to go
something.
to King's Landing, is basically what Salador was saying. He's like, let's just sack it and get all the gold. Basically, what Stannis is saying here is like, he cares about gold. He's a pirate. That's it.
Okay.
Basically, he's a pirate with a bunch of ships. He's like a pretty well-known, renowned pirate, I guess, if you would say. And Davos knew him from his smuggling days. So when Stannis was, again, they don't say this, but it's kind of assumed that when Stannis was like, yo, Davos, we're about to go to war. Do you know anybody? He's like, hey, I know this guy with a ton of ships. He's like, if you pay him, he'll probably fight for you. And that's probably how this thing happened. So that's why Davos
Sign
is like,
me
yo,
up.
my boy Salador. And Stannis is like, I don't give a fuck about Salador. He's a pirate. Which is just like when you're taking advice from Davos, who is a fucking smuggler. Like it's
An onion knight.
it's the same thing, right?
When your best counselor is a witch, an onion
Exactly.
knight, and a pirate.
Like, don't look down on pirates. Yeah. So
So then Stannis is like, are you just gonna fucking argue with everything I say, or are you here to serve me? And he's like, Davos is like, no, I'm on your side 100% here.
whatever you say, boss.
But at the same time, he likes Davos for being real to him. Like, why are you talking shit all of a sudden?
Yeah, he likes it to a point until Stannis gets fed up with it. I think the same thing happened in the first Davos chapter.
I think he likes Davos. I don't think he cares for Salador
And I think
at
he's
all.
like, I already have a solution for this as well.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I'm 2 steps ahead of you if you just shut the fuck up real quick.
It's kind of like Nelson on this podcast.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna try and explain it to you if you just shut up.
I think Stannis is also hoping Davos does have a way out. Like he did not. I think
a
clearly
different
he's.
alternative.
I think he's traumatized from what happened with the Renly thing. Like I think Jeff's saying, I don't think he's as nervous about this next one, but I don't think he's looking forward to it. And
I'd agree there.
and I bet you he's like, if Davos has something, I'll go for it. But at this point, he's like, okay, Davos, you're just telling me the same every other thing I've already thought of. Time to give you my plan. So
Yeah.
basically, he doesn't give him the whole plan. He basically just says, "Oh, if Penrose would die, the person that I know who takes over is a pussy, and he's just gonna roll over." His name's Lord Meadows.
Come on, Meadows might have a little bit of a backbone.
He's
I
young.
heard
He's only
gonna have
20.
an accident.
When he's a cousin of our somebody on our side,
Foster
Two
his
guys.
family standing here.
Two
Yeah.
families.
Yeah, 2 of them. Yeah.
Is he green or red, Meadows?
Meadows is his last name
You're
is
thinking of
Meadows.
the Fossilways.
Yeah. Well, it says he's a
Cousin of the
nephew
Fossaway. Cousin of the Fossaways, but his last name is Meadows. So yeah,
I thought it was Fossaway nephew.
I
So
was,
he'd have
I
to
was
be
thinking
green
the
or
same
red.
thing too, Jeff. But he's a Meadows, so he's not.
What's a Meadows?
It's his last name.
Just another family.
He's not a Fossaway. So Fossaway is the house from the Duncan Egg story where there's the
Yeah, I know, but so like, there's no other names in the Fossaway family. Like, no daughters got married and had a different last name.
I don't know. I didn't
Yeah,
look up
that's
this. I did not look up
probably
this
how
dude's
it
family
is.
tree, guys. He's the guy.
Meadows might even be a bastard of the area.
I was
He
actually
is
thinking the same
cousin.
thing too.
I thought it
dude.
was nephew.
Meadows isn't a
Could-
bastard name. It's not.
Could be.
It's not. His name is
It could
Lord
be.
Meadows.
Yeah,
They call him Lord Meadows.
They
Lord
call
Bastard
him
Meadows.
Lord Snow.
Lord Snow.
Lord Snow.
That's a
Damn.
joking name.
All right.
That's a
so
troll
it doesn't
name.
really matter. He's like, all right, this is how we're gonna get it. So
Well, he's like Davos does say he's like, I knew another 20-year-old who got command of Storm's End and he didn't surrender. And Stannis like, that's not gonna happen with this guy. Trust me, he's not as stubborn as I was.
He's not a stubborn mule like me.
And he's like, but it doesn't matter. Penrose is healthy anyway. And Stannis hits him with the Melisandre line.
he doesn't even say healthy. He says something really weird.
Hale and Hardy.
Hale and Hardy. I was like,
And
what
he
the
said,
hell?
so did Renly.
Yeah, and so did Renly the night before he died. But the night is dark and full of terror.
Hale and Hardy
Dun, dun,
sounds
dun.
like a label for like a chunky soup commercial. Hale and Hardy, filling you right up.
It's got to be like chicken and dumplings, so like something that's gonna stick to your ribs.
Steak and potatoes.
yeah.
All right, so Davos was like, listen, you don't need to understand, but I need your service.
I need you to do something for me.
Which is kind of what I was saying earlier. Why not just give Davos a little bit of heads up on what's going to happen here? But whatever.
Well, maybe he doesn't really know.
That's what I'm
Maybe
saying,
he
like,
didn't
I don't
watch
think he
fucking
knows what's gonna happen.
Melisandre just popped out a baby in front of him.
Like, does Melisandre look pregnant on the horse? I don't think so.
You don't think Stannis asked Melisandre about this after the Renly thing?
No,
Like, what
absolutely
happened on your end that night? You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I don't think so. I think he was just like, all right, the thing's done. Fuck it. I'm
and it was fucking
terrified.
freaky. Yeah, I guess I'm more on your side of him not having an idea.
Yeah, Stannis, I popped out a ghost baby. You should have been there.
So basically, next thing, Stannis, he's on the boat, right? Or is it?
Well, he's just like, look.
talk about the
you
flames.
You need to
He's gonna
get.
be dead.
Melisandre saw him dead in the flames. She saw Renly too. She also saw something weird. I forget what she saw that wasn't somebody dying.
It's just like the shifting of flames and like everyone casts a bunch of shadows. There's a bunch of different possibilities for the future.
Oh, she also saw Renly smashing his army in front of King's
In
Landing.
front of King's
so-
Landing. But
Yeah.
one thing Davos says is, he's like, hold on, she saw Renly die, but the only reason Renly died is because you came here. So like, if you wouldn't have come here, then that wouldn't have come true. So Davos is like, you can't say that it doesn't lie because you made this happen. And he kind of thinks the same thing later on. Like, he's like, the flames don't lie, but they require me to make them happen this time. What he's saying here is, you made this happen last time. It's like, I feel like it's a very similar parallel. Stannis literally took Melisandre here on a boat from Dragonstone, just like Davos is going to take Melisandre on a boat into Storm's End,
I think
right?
he's kind of trying to say, wake up, you're doing her bidding.
Well, so I mean, it's like, how can it be Renly's 100% going to die? If Stannis would have just sat his ass on Dragonstone, would Renly still have died somehow? Like, does the vision still come true? That's why, like, that's a whole prophecy. Like, this is like a borderline prophecy, I feel like, right?
I thought he said
Short-term
that the flames.
prophecy.
I thought
Well, I
he
guess
said that
it's
the
kinda-
flames told him to go to Storm's End because if he didn't, he would get smashed by Renly at King's
so
Landing.
he's saying there's two futures, pick one, and if you do
Yeah.
this, then if you don't, they got you.
I think that's kind of how I took it. I
Yeah.
might be wrong.
Because
But
Davos
that's
basically says, how can two futures be true? Like, that doesn't make sense,
Yeah.
right? So but that's the way that you get out of it. So
Yeah. So basically, it's like, look, you need to be a smuggler again. I need you to get a ship beneath the castle without being seen. Davos is like, fuck no, I don't want to do this. Really, just because he doesn't want to be a smuggler again.
he doesn't say that, but he's thinking it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He kind of just stays silent.
He's like, I want to say no, but my mouth won't say it.
Yeah. And Davos is like, why are you staying silent? And he's like, I know you don't like Melisandre, neither do any of my other lords. It's like, they want me to send her away. But while they're whispering all that, their nonsense, she's getting shit done. Look at me. Look where I'm at now compared to where I was when we were in
Look at us.
Dragonstone.
Look at us.
This is because of hers. Kind of what he's saying here. So like, they're whispering, she's serving. I don't give a fuck if they're whispering. I'm going to keep going with whoever's like backing me, right? And I kind of think, if we're going to call back real quick to the last Davos chapter, the end is he's like, the seven gods never served me. He gives the whole like proud wing analogy with his hawk, right? He's like,
Yeah.
people were telling him, just pick a different hawk, your hawk sucks. Don't stick with this one. And he's like, and the way the chapter ends, I think the first Davos one to stand is like, it's time I chose a red hawk.
Yeah.
Right. And basically, I think what's happening in this chapter is like, it's fucking working out, Davos. I'm going to keep rolling with it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Now they're on a boat in Shipwreckers Bay.
They're rowing along. They're sailing along.
There's a little bit back and forth, but mostly Davos, there's a lot of parallels, right? Davos thinking like, this is a lot like it was before, but this time I'm not afraid of the ships. I'm afraid of like before he wasn't afraid of the people in the castle. They wanted him to come. He was afraid of the ships he was sneaking past. Now ships are on his side. This castle doesn't want him there.
I think it's also cool that like there's really nothing in this water where last time, can you imagine being a smuggler and like sailing right through ships? Like that's crazy.
Yeah, it's badass.
Like, how do you not get seen? It's weird.
Black boat.
New moon, black sails.
New Moon,
New
Black
Moon,
Sails.
Black
Like I get
Sails.
the like water, like you hear the splashes all over the place. You probably become deaf to it, but not seeing a boat go through your navy, like it's a fleet out there, right?
Well, one thing Davos says is it had been a while. They'd been at the siege had been going on, right? So if you're that guard,
they were
sitting on
tired.
the
Yeah,
deck,
that's true.
if you're standing there for it's been a month, like, are you really gonna? Are you
don't give
looking
a
for
shit anymore,
rowboats?
yeah.
Right? You're probably more thinking like, oh, if a fucking fleet comes in, we got to be ready to fight off the fleet.
Yeah.
Not like a rowboat's going to sneak
For
by.
sure. Is it a rowboat or like a little sailboat? He's got sails. So
In Sea of Thieves, you're
it's
invisible.
gotta be like a
you're
little-
literally invisible on a rowboat. You can roll up to a boat doing in the middle of have a ton of loot on their board and they just won't see you. Like people are looking for ships. They're not looking for rowboats. Again, he's not on a rowboat, but he's on a small ship.
He's on like a little bit smaller of a sloop.
He's not what they're looking for. Yeah. Which is the key.
I also think it's cool. It's also pretty stupid. Like he said, your watchmen, and this is probably later on, but they're like close to the flame, which they're going to be close to the flame anyway, because it's the only way they can see anything. Looking out into
cold.
pitch dark.
Yeah.
Like the only thing you're seeing is another light.
Or
You're
like
not
a
seeing
reflection
shit.
of, or the only thing I can think of are like glass or metal, right? Like glass or metal, you might get a reflection of something off of on the wall.
But again, that's just light. That's
and
a
it might even,
reflection of
it'll
light.
probably just look like a wave, right? Even if you got that. So
Yeah. So it's just like he really has nothing but him crashing is his only threat to not getting Melisandre into the castle.
Yeah, I mean, he knows he's getting there.
So
His onion.
the one quote he thinks is, last time it was life I brought to Storm's End, shaped to look like onions. This time it's death in the shape of Melisandre of Ashai. So again, this was something that I wondered if Kyle knew before, but Ashai is something we've heard in Dany chapters.
Didn't we just talk
mostly.
about a shy for a while last week?
It's
Yeah,
east
where it
of
was.
it's
What was
southeast
it
of
called again?
Ashcog.
Yeah, Ashcog.
Yeah, it was basically where
Thank you, Jeff.
Dany, where Quaithe is like, you must go north, south, east,
Yeah.
west. Danny's like, oh, I got to go to
Go to
Ashai.
Ashai.
And she's like, you're going to find truth there, right? So that's why we were talking about Ashai before. This is where Melisandre's from. I thought Melisandre had said before, wasn't sure, so I don't know if I mentioned that chapter, but
Gotcha.
just bringing it up now. We don't
I
got to
do
linger
think
on it.
she's said it before.
Yeah, so we don't got to linger on it, but Mel says that she can smell the fear on Davos, and he's like, someone once told me the night is dark and full of terrors.
Mhm.
He's like, and I am no knight. Tonight, I am Davos the smuggler again. Would that you were an onion. So Davos, you can just tell he doesn't want anything to fucking do with this.
Doesn't she then talk like, wow, you really don't like me either?
She asked if he was afraid of her, what
Mhm.
he's like, are you afraid of me or what we do? And he says,
Not what we do, what you do.
you got a mouse in your pocket, Melisandre? Like,
What do you got, a mouse in your
He's like,
pocket?
I have no part in it. And she's like, you raise the sail, your hands on the tiller, like you're part of it, right? You're part of it.
controlling
You're
this
in
right
it.
now.
Yeah. And he's like, he basically doesn't say anything. He's like, yeah, she's kind of right. So his whole plan, and also like, while we don't gotta get too far into it, but he can't go into the island right now. He's got to wait for the tide. So he's going out, just chilling in the bay, actually going further away from the castle at the moment. But Mel doesn't seem like she's not questioning him. She's like trusting what he's doing. And then, yeah, this is where she asks if he's a good man.
All right, Sir Davos, are you a good man?
It said, yeah, I'm a bit of both. You know, I've done bad things. I do good things. I treat my wife well. My sons, I try to make a good life for them. But I used to be a smuggler. I'm fucking rowing you right now.
I've broken laws, but I never felt evil till tonight.
She just calls bullshit on him right away.
He says his part. No, not right away.
She didn't call him bullshit.
She's like,
she
"You're
just
gray."
essentially, yeah.
She's like, you're saying you're gray.
Well, but then she's like,
She does call
but
bullshit
then
on that though.
She
Yeah,
does call bullshit on the onion soon.
yeah. So
Like,
she says
bullshit,
you're gray.
You're not gray.
He's like, most men aren't they? And she's like, if half an onion's black with rot, it's a rotten onion. And
Yeah.
Davos shuts up
Which
with
is
that,
bullshit.
right?
Bullshit.
Can you
It's
cut?
not
Can
rotten
you
onion.
can
If
you
it's half
save?
rotten, you cut it off and you eat the other half.
I don't know.
I totally do that.
Maybe.
That's a point of view. I don't know. If you're
I don't
really
know if I would
hungry, I
do that.
guess, right?
Not really hungry. I do it all the time. You cut the rotten piece off, or you rip the layer off the outside that's rotten.
So like, but what if your bread's moldy? Do you just cut the moldy part off, or like?
Yeah.
Nah, fuck
If
that.
it's in
Throw
if
that-
it's in a bag
throw that
together,
shit out.
nah.
Throw that
The-
shit
the-
out.
The air pulse.
What, Kyle? Hold on.
Air,
What if
for
your
sure.
milk's spoiled? Do you just skim the fat, the part that's congealed
That's
off, and then
different.
drink?
That's
How is it
different. She
different?
said
Once
onion.
it's spoiled, okay, I gotcha. I guess it's different.
She
It
did say
doesn't. It doesn't
onion.
spoil all the same. You're saying, like, I guess rot's
Yeah,
different
like,
than
I mean, a potato.
spoiling.
You've never cut the rotten half of a potato off and just eaten the fucking half that looks normal.
I don't think so.
Well, I cut the eyes off of it, but I don't cut I'll get like big ass like sprouts out of it because you left it in the cupboard for too long, and I'll cut
Well,
those
you're
off. and just
wasting
eat it.
food because you can eat the other half because it's perfectly fine.
I'm not gonna argue this one. Okay, Kyle's just calling
All right.
bullshit on Melisandre.
Fuck
Yeah.
you, Melisandre.
Bullshit,
If she would've
Melisandre,
said
piece of
milk-
shit.
That would have been better.
Different story.
I
Okay,
would've been all right
milk
with
would have been
that.
different.
I
Okay.
can't see Melisandre cooking too many of her own
But-
meals, so she
But
probably
milk
doesn't know.
spoil half and half, you know?
Yeah.
I see you.
Do we know that other side of quote unquote unrotten onion is not rotten too? It just hasn't formed like
That's what Kyle's
the
claiming. And I
lookings-
think
the lookings of a rotten onion.
I feel like it kind of checks out. I don't know. I feel like it might be shriveled and stuff. Like an apple would get all shriveled everywhere. But again, who knows? I don't know. I feel like Kyle's pretty confident about his onion
She said
deterioration.
half an onion. That to me makes it sound like one half is good, one half is bad, which is literally what he's saying.
But right after that, Melisandre's like, "Yeah, I'm not evil at all."
Well, no, he asked her. He says, "What of women?"
Yeah, you
Like,
speak
what
of
about
men and
you?
onions. What about
Yeah.
you? She's like, I'm definitely good. Come on, are you kidding me?
She's
She's
all
become the
good.
champion of the Lord of Light, or champion of light and
Champion
life.
of life
Not good or not
and
evil.
light.
He's like, but you plan to kill someone tonight, just as you killed Crescent. And again,
I didn't kill
he
Crescent.
brought up Crescent. Davos also. I'm gonna bring this up. Davos brought up Crescent in the first Davos chapter with Stannis. Davos liked Crescent. He was a fan of Crescent.
He
They
was
sat
a
next to each
Crescent
other
guy
at the
for
feast.
sure.
Nothing
Yeah.
wrong with Crescent.
He's
Doesn't
he's a
Crescent
dude.
like look to Davos too, like as he's
Like
dying?
it was like,
Like,
see,
yeah.
well, it was. I think Davos like saw him, but the dude like fiddle with the poison or something, right?
Yeah, he knew. He was
Yeah.
in on it.
So she's like, I didn't kill him. He tried to kill me. I was just protected. He killed himself.
I have a better protector.
Yeah. And Davos like, well, then who killed Renly? And she's like, well, it wasn't me. Stannis says his hands were clean. If it wasn't Mel and it wasn't
Liar.
Stannis, who the fuck killed Renly? You know what I mean?
The
It's gotta be
Lord
one
of
of these two.
No, so this is where he says gods.
Yeah. Well, not
God-
yet. Is it?
Okay.
I had it later. He definitely
Does it
says
say
gods
allow-
when she's giving
allow?
birth. He says gods. And she
no,
laughs at him.
In my notes it says Davos says the gods of darkness protect them now.
The god of darkness
You were
protects
lost
me.
in darkness and
Yeah.
confusion.
Is it just God? Damn it.
I think so.
Yeah.
Good
it's just
thing,
God.
and it's just good. So pretty much, she's like, you don't understand what's happening.
Yeah, she's like,
This
you're
is
lost in
beyond you."
darkness and confusion when he says it wasn't me. Or when she
And
says
he's-
it wasn't me, he says, you're a fucking liar. And he's like, he thinks to himself, I know she's lying now. And she's like, you're lost. Like, you kind of what Kyle said, exactly what Kyle said. You don't understand actually what's happening here.
And he's like, well, good, because like the darkness currently is helping us. Like being lost in darkness is a good thing right now.
Like, because we're literally
she's-
lost in dark. He's talking about literally, we're lost in darkness
yeah.
in this boat. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, don't say the name of darkness, because he's gonna look at us. It's the god of darkness. He doesn't protect you. He's evil. It's actually light that creates darkness, right?
Light that creates shadows and lights that's blinding the people on the battlements right now.
Davos does mention that on nights like this, like Davos is the one that brings it up. They're going to be huddling close to the torch. I think Jeff said it earlier
Yep.
for both light and warmth, right? And the other thing is that when he says the god of darkness, it's almost like he was just like saying that, like he doesn't
Yeah.
think there's an actual god of
I
darkness.
have this
Yeah,
note
yeah,
too. She's like, don't mention, don't bring
She's
up
like,
his name.
like that's a thing.
shut
She's
up.
like, that's an
Don't-
actual
your
thing.
tongue,
we don't
bro.
talk about him.
Yeah. I was like, oh my god, what's next? We got the Green Lantern in here. What, like, come on, Melisandre.
The Green Lantern.
Also, he's noticing her eyes are burning. Is like looks like there's actually like fire in her eyes, like candles burning in her eyes.
I feel
And
like
they
that's
burn
been
brighter.
said. Hasn't that been
Might have
said
been
before?
but they burn brighter when he
Like,
says
We
the
not
talked
in
about
this
a
chapter.
ruby that was drinking the sun.
Yeah, the
and
ruby
stuff.
on her neck. Yep.
All right. So who rode you to Renly?
It's like there was no need. But like I said earlier, Stannis did. Like he literally took her there from Dragonstone. So
That's very true.
yeah.
He took her
No
where?
need. There's
I mean,
no
to
protections
Westeros.
here.
I mean,
Oh
Dragonstone.
yeah. But I mean, but he didn't ride like.
He didn't ride her to wherever she gave
I
birth.
think she just gave birth or whatever in the tent,
Yeah.
and this thing ran across the wood or across the battlefield or whatever, you know.
I agree. Yeah. I just mean like
But,
thematically. I
but
think
she
it's-
can't get into Storm's End because there's spells weaved into the walls.
Yeah, she says ancient spells that have that are forgotten. So like that, like probably like people who are in Storm's End don't even know exist, but they're there.
So we have to be inside the wall, breach the walls with this thing essentially. is what
Yeah,
she's
and
looking
again,
for.
Davos still doesn't quite know what's going on, but she's just like, get me inside the walls.
Yeah.
He mentions it's
So he
dangerous.
lures her in the cave.
It's got to be at high tide. Yeah, the secret cave from last time. It's dark as shit
It's
in there.
dangerous, but he's pretty sick at this. Except there's
He's
no light.
navigating.
Yep. He's good at navigating, but this time it's dark as shit. Last time there was torches everywhere, and when he looked
they
up through
were
the
waiting
murder
for him.
holes, well, not in that tunnel, right? But like through the murder holes, they were all starving men were looking down at him. But now there's no one here, right? Might be that there's just way less people here this time. I'm not sure, but
they're just not ready for him. Like those people in the murder holes were like, please give me an onion.
Well, that was the thing. Like, was there did they know Davos was coming? Like, did somehow a letter get out that like, oh, so. Davos will be here in a week or something? Like I don't know. I felt like it was. I always assumed it was more of a just like he showed up and they weren't expecting him and he saved the day, but. Maybe that's wrong.
That's how I always thought it was. Like, how is he going to get notification in there?
But I don't know why they'd be waiting. This makes me think that
and they had the torches lit. Yeah, and they'd be sitting there. Yeah, I mean the torches tells, and the gate being up, like they knew.
Yeah. So this time he gets there, gate's not up, torches aren't lit, it's dark as fuck. He can't really see anything.
Not to backtrack, or they were just kind of keeping watch to make sure that there were no enemies coming in, and the gate was actually down. And they were ready to raise the gate.
That's true, but you would think that if that was the case, why wouldn't these guys be doing the same thing? Because, like, yeah. So, again, don't need to
They're not technically getting sieged right now, though, and they're not starving.
I mean, they are getting sieged,
and there's
not starving.
No real boats out there, I don't think. Not like garden. I mean, I guess there are boats.
He said he's
it's Stannis' boat, though. Yeah. All right, so they get through. It's dark. They get to a gate. He's like, all right, well, unless you have someone on the inside, this is where we stop. And then, bam, light comes out of her vagina.
I don't know out of her vagina, but from somewhere. He turns around. She's taken her clothes off. She's pregnant as fuck. Davos whispers, God's preserve. This is where I have Davos saying God. He says, God's preserve us. And it says she laughed in response, which is like, is she laughing at him?
Yeah,
being
I think
like,
so.
You're about to see some shit and you're still going to believe in
and
those fucking gods.
And you're still talking about other gods? Yeah, I think so.
So I thought that was kind of cool too, especially because Davos thought about it earlier when Esther.
You know what is also weird is she had just pretty much given fact that there's a god of darkness, which makes two. God of light and God of dark.
At least two, yeah.
So that's polygamy right there. So gods plural.
I guess so, but I don't know how that. I'm not a religion expert, so I don't know.
Maybe she's saying it's more
I
like
brought my septon.
I feel like
maybe she's saying it's more like the God of light is, let's just say like a Christianity, like God, and then the God of darkness is actually like a devil, and not
like more of a
God.
dichotomy thing. But even then, like if you're going, I don't want to go again. I don't want to go down the religion thing, but like Christianity, I feel like also has the multi-face God aspect with the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, right? Like that. I think that's where the seven came from. Is the but whatever. Without getting down there.
They're all
and I think her laugh here is also kind of like your gods can't save you, you fool. Like this shit.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah,
your gods are doing nothing right now.
So anyway, she's going deep into labor here, real fast. Squats, spreads her legs. Blood,
bleeding.
Black blood, kind of like the Dany thing, right? I feel like Dany had some weird shit, kind of like this happening.
I don't remember her blood.
I don't know if there's
also,
black blood,
they're in a very dark cavern right now, so like I think
true.
It could
Davos was shooting. He was shooting.
Well, he just said it was super light, so
yeah.
Couldn't tell if she was happy or in pain or agony
and ecstasy.
Agony and ecstasy.
Head, arms come out,
grabbing the
fingers,
thighs,
curling around, grabbing her thighs. Yep. This ain't no baby.
But shadow, so it's like 2D on her thighs. So I guess like it's literally a shadow. Looks like somebody else is standing above her almost. That's how I see it. I
want to say it's 3D-ish. 3D-ish
shadow.
Like
just like a black mist kind of thing, right? Like in the form of hands.
Yeah, okay. I will say, Courtney Penrose isn't in the book. I've complained about this a fuck ton of the spoilers. This is a huge book in the show. This is a huge show complaint I have. There's only one shadow baby in the show, and it's one that kills Renly, but they wanted to show this scene, so they just but like Renly's not in Storm's End, so like I mean nobody ever questions it, but this is a huge problem I have with the show. Like, why
if you just read this chapter you'd be like wait, why did we see her birth
like in the show, like if they did this in the show, like the Shadow Baby, I would think couldn't get out of Storm's End because of the magic walls or whatever. So Renly
she did into Storm's End even though he wasn't there.
Well, like you're saying, like no one has to row her anywhere because
they just row her. We don't. Yeah,
Renly's in a field.
She gets rowed to a gate, which doesn't really make sense.
They row into they row into Storm's End for sure, but Renly isn't in Storm's End. So like, again, like I get it. They wanted to show the badass scene without having to go through the whole Courtney Penrose.
Who's Courtney Penrose for 10 minutes?
Yeah, because like at the end of the day,
2 hours.
Because at the end of the day, what happens, right? Renly dies, and then like so. But like I don't know. It's just one of the big problems I have with this. Like, I don't know.
Giant fucking shadow crawls out of this lady, right? Just like falls out of her. Yeah.
Big old
Crawls
shadow.
out of her, probably.
A grown man.
Yeah.
It's as tall as the tunnel. It's towering above the boat.
Yeah.
It's not even grown
way
man. It's just
taller.
like long.
Do you think
thin...
you think it's even taller than like actually Stannis? I just figured it was like actual size Stannis.
Kat says the first one's
No,
tall, but I
apparently
think it's because Stannis is tall. This one, I feel like it's more of like a shadow effect, where like if like the light's in the right way,
stretched out?
yeah, you can have like a really long shadow, right?
Yeah.
So
And
that's kind of what I was thinking.
Melisandre's
But yeah,
glowing right now.
You know, it reaches. It just fucking squeezes through. Right
reach
through
to the bars, dips off past the
Gone. He knew it
Dun, dun,
was.
dun.
I know.
I mean, you guys said it already. I knew it was Stannis, so like, I mean, it's obvious. That's who they're pointing at, right?
My question was kind of like how they were talking about darkness earlier. What if Courtney Penrose is just like in bed and there's like no lights on in his room? Like, can how does the shadow go
black.
into a completely dark room? You can't, right?
Because
Completely
it's on the
bright.
walls. Yeah, it's in darkness.
I don't know. Maybe
How
that's
do you
why
go
Mel
through that
hates
key
darkness.
after the
There's
port-
there's a little
portcullis?
bit of moonlight that goes into his room.
But if it's completely dark, isn't it just like your room shadow?
No.
I feel like
No,
it would
it's not
explain.
either.
I feel like it would explain why Melisandre doesn't like the
Gods of
the
darkness.
darkness. Also, I feel like when Renly dies, I guess that doesn't make sense. When Renly dies, all the candles get stuffed out.
Yeah,
But,
I
like-
mean, it had to travel through dark.
I don't think it
Yeah.
goes complete.
Field
I don't
at
think that
some
means it
point.
goes complete
Like
darkness.
this shadow is going through a dark hallway.
Yeah,
at
but
some
there's
point.
light. There's light because Melisandre, like, there's light from like somehow
How
Melisandre's
much-
making
From her.
light right now.
Yeah, at some point he's
Vision.
the shadow is gonna
Nuclear
get
fission
get
occurred down her
out
shoulder.
past her light into a dark stairwell or tunnel. Or
I was
something.
thinking the same thing, Jeff, when I was thinking about this, but I don't know. I feel like darkness, like she says, darkness is like the enemy of shadows or something like that, which makes sense. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't agree. I feel like the shadow can get there. We actually know because it already got to Renly.
all right. Well, this has been a
dark field.
long spoiler section. I don't want to
Non-spoiler
linger.
section.
Non-spoiler section.
section.
Sheesh. Do we want to, Kyle? Anything? I'm not going to probe you. If you want to hit anything before we sign off, let's get out of here.
Does he pull out a flashlight real quick?
What?
Courtney Penrose, pull out a flashlight.
Oh, yeah.
So how you defeat the shadow?
Unshadow it, yeah.
The opposite of darkness is just a fuck ton of light. Yeah,
Yeah,
have a ton of
million candle
floodlights.
power.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like this baby thing is really weird, right? Like it's definitely, it's got to have a downside. Is kind of where I'm at right now, I guess. Because if you're not going to probe me, I'll give you my thoughts here going forward. But like, so like, there can't be just like unlimited of these shadow babies, right? Like this can't just be something that she just is pooping out. Because otherwise, how do you defeat
Pooping
that?
out.
Like, I feel
That's a
like
good
this.
point.
Yeah, that's how it works.
She's
Right?
just pooped it out.
Need a bunch of magic.
Popped it out, whatever. You know what I meant.
I
No,
like
I know
I
you
like
meant,
the
I was
poop.
I know how babies work.
Babies come from poop.
Well, yeah,
Babies
Butt
come from
baby.
poop.
it's a big
Girls
butt baby.
pee out
Maybe
their
that's why the
butthole.
blood was so dark. It's just butt.
Oh,
Little
that's
little
true.
poop. It's just a little poop.
You guys have taken us here. I just perpetuated, I guess. But yeah. So I mean, like there's got to be a negative effect, and like I also said, I feel like Melisandre is kind of leading Stannis around by the nose right now. Like she's helping him accomplish his goals, but via her goals to some degree. I don't know what her plan is other than power, but
All right.
Power.
it's about all I got, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
Wrap it up.
See
I
you,
don't think
Kyle.
we have anything else. Next one, John. I don't know what it is. John 4 or 5. I think it would be John 5.
John the Best, whichever one it is.
John 5. So we'll see you guys in the spoiler section. We'll see Kyle and John 5. Bye,
Later,
Kyle.
nerds.
Bye.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! See you later, Cal. It's great hanging out, bud. We'll see you on the next episode for John 5. But now, on to the spoilers section of Davos 2. Boys,
Spoiler
let me hear them.
section.
The hot takes. Bring them on.
I got a decent amount, but none of them are big. You guys got anything?
I don't have anything to back this up, but it was like the one thing I read during this chapter where I was like, oh my God, this is weird. Are you ready for it?
What?
Let's go.
She gives the god of darkness a gender.
What'd
And
you say?
she says not to bring up his name.
Well, doesn't she say his for the Lord of Light too?
I believe so.
Like, I'm just his champion.
Sure, agreed. But
Okay.
it just gets me to thinking of this puppeteer type of stuff again. Like, she knows who the god of darkness is. She knows who the god of light is. Like, she's working as a vessel of this. And it's just like...
Yeah, but like the Christianity God, they call him or his or he.
That's true. What I was thinking was in the there's one Melisandre chapter we get ever, and I think it's in Dance with Dragons.
Yes.
And she, I think, looks into the fire and sees. I don't remember exactly what it is. It's something cryptic, right? But people say it's like Bran. It's basically Bran.
Yeah.
With like skulls floating around him.
Well,
and she says something about the great other, right?
A wolf with wings.
A wolf with wings, yeah, and she with skulls floating around it or something like that. And she talks about like the great other, right? Yep. So I'm assuming the god of darkness is the same as the great other, right? Yeah. We know others are like they come when it's dark, or it's dark when they come, right? Like, so it makes sense. Darkness and the others are associated, and it seems like Melisandre later on has a vision where she associates that with Bran, which I think people in the fandom take that to mean that like
Bran's the god of light.
Well, I think people are saying the opposite. Bran's kind of the bad guy, not knowing it.
He's going to become the great other.
First off, is the Lord of Light actually the good guy? We don't know that. Maybe the dark side is the good guy at the end of the day. Anyway, Melisandre's full of shit the whole time.
Yeah, I meant in her eyes, I guess. But
yeah, in her eyes, yeah, for sure the bad guy. Like the dark, that's how she sees it. And is Bran / Bloodraven that whoever that holds that position, the three-eyed raven position, is that the same thing? Right? Maybe. I think that's basically where that goes, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to hit a couple things that Kyle touched on. First, the onion thing.
Let me go a quick one first. Sweet
He calls
peach.
her, if she was an onion, a lot of sweets, I'm sure.
No, there was only one sweet, and that was the sweet peach that Renly gave to Stannis, or offered to Stannis.
He's talking about it when he talks about that dream, that quote that I read.
No, it's like his remembrance, like always thinking about that peach. Well,
my brother's peach.
And he said like, Renly offered me a sweet peach. So like, gotcha. I don't know what double entendre that is, but somehow.
Again, like Kyle said, is there anything to the peach? It's kind of something this is a big thing that I've always.
I hope there's something more to the peach.
I feel like this has always felt like something. I feel like that what I gave Kyle, that's kind of the biggest thing I could find from the fandom. This is something I always thought there had to be something more to it. I've kind of come to term with. I like how the symbolism that I was saying, that it just explains like Stannis isn't willing to. Like he never does ever enjoys a moment ever.
Yeah,
you never see Stannis ever enjoy a moment.
I thought the analogy, the metaphor of the peach to his life was a good one. I just think it's like hopefully something more. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the things that I thought there had to be something more to. I've just dug into this one real deep because this was the one I was a big fan of, and I couldn't ever find anything that really that I bought into. So that's kind of where I'm at. And if something comes of it, awesome. I just don't know how it would at this point, right? But maybe we find out some big peach thing that George puts out later on. But yeah, so I want to go back to what I was saying. So the thing, unless you want to talk more about the sweet.
No.
Is there anybody that has a peach in their banner?
Is anybody?
No, Fossways or foxes? No, Fossways are apples. Florence are foxes with flowers. Let me see. It's an inn, a brothel located in the eastern side of Stony Sept.
That'd be cool.
Arya goes there. Again, brothel, pleasure. Right. Again, not that whorehouses are like the most pleasurable places ever, but
I mean, top 10.
They're kind of theoretically, you think they're like kind of. When I think of a whorehouse, I think dingy, but I guess like in the Game of Thrones sense, yeah, it's kind of like the local amusement park. Brothels are more mainstream, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, so on to the onion thing.
Yep.
This comes up again.
I don't remember.
Do you know what I'm talking about? This Sam chapters, when everyone's starving, here's the quote. When Craster's wives brought onions, he seized one eagerly. One side was black with rot, but he cut that part off with his dagger and ate the good half raw. I mean, Kyle's 100% right here. I didn't want to tell Kyle he's 100% right. I hope Kyle...
Yeah,
Kyle doesn't, I'm going to 100% tell Kyle about... Again, the things like
Kyle
stuff like this...
Kyle's going to be like, you remember when I told you that?
If he doesn't, he was so on point the first time. Like, he basically called this one out. Like, Melisandre's just wrong here.
I feel like, well, yeah, she's definitely wrong. And I feel like even if it's
doing
not,
one bad thing doesn't make you a bad person.
Yeah.
sure,
Just like
yeah,
doing one
agreed.
good thing doesn't make you a good person.
Exactly.
And she says
what's
that.
funny? No, Stannis said this.
Stannis
Stannis
says
said this
that,
to
yes.
Davos earlier. He says, "A good deed doesn't wash out the bad, nor a bad the good. Each deserves their own reward."
Which is a great line.
Great line, and the opposite of what Melisandre said. That's something I was gonna bring up to Kyle, but I didn't know. Like,
Yeah.
it's in the chapter, but
You should have said
he
completely
basically
opposite
said
of
it
what-
anyway. He basically said that anyway. He just didn't
Yeah.
tie it to the Stannis thing. He
You
called
could've
her
said
out.
I
on
Stannis
that.
definitely
thing.
feel like I've probably done this too. Like, I don't even know, like, I guess a black onion. I definitely don't buy onions enough, and if I do, they've probably been cooked. But I'm sure people have done this, and I know, like, I've known people that would do this. But is it the right thing to do? Is that other side not rot?
I don't know about
Did
onions,
they
but like
kill
what
him?
Kyle's saying is like cheese.
Are
Right?
your
Like,
friends still alive?
this isn't the same thing, but like
Well, I mean, I think our they might have had an upset tummy. It doesn't mean they have to die.
yeah, the thing that I've done, right, is like the thing that I can relate this to is Velveeta cheese. And I don't think it's rot, but like when you open a pack of Velveeta cheese you've already opened, like the outside is like harder and like darker yellow. But if you just cut that off, the inside is still Velveeta, like just basic Velveeta cheese. You know, it just makes like
Yeah.
a kind of like when like
I've never
what's that?
bought a block of Velveeta cheese.
Yeah, I don't know
Like
what the
dry
fuck that is.
age. What you made Velveeta cheese for like queso? You never made like what do you make with queso? You used Velveeta
I
cheese.
buy
Never mind.
fucking Tostitos queso.
Yeah, I don't know what you're
Minus.
talking about right now.
Grow up.
Velveeta though, like that's the kind you get
Velveeta's, you buy their
It's like
fucking
processed
for
as stuffed
stuff
cheese.
for those shells.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
get
it's like
you
a
get
brand
Velveeta
of
mac and
macaroni,
cheese,
too.
and
Yeah.
their mac and cheese is a pretty good quick mac.
It's a
and
type
cheese.
of Velveeta is just
Yeah,
processed
it's
cheese.
definitely
It
a
was
fucking
way better.
bad
or
cheese.
Kraft mac and cheese is way better.
No, Velveeta mac and cheese is better than Kraft
No,
mac and
I'll
cheese.
die
for
on
Whatever
Sure.
cheese, Jeff, you've bought a block of cheese before and you've
Yeah,
opened it
let's-
and you use some and then you put it back and you go and get it again next time. And like the corners where you cut it off are like darker
Sure,
yellow or darker whatever
Yeah.
color. And you just cut that off and the rest of the cheese is good.
sure.
Right?
Sure.
I think what Kyle's saying is it works like that for some foods. Milk, I tried to like, again, I was just playing devil's advocate
Yeah,
like I do and said the
yeah.
milk thing. And he called me out. He's like, she said milk is a different story. She
All
didn't
right,
say
let's,
milk. She
you should have said
onions.
like meat. Like, say you have meat, and you can see
meat's
that
the same as
like,
milk. You don't fuck with nasty
right?
old
But
meat.
like, you can see like, there's been times where I've had like bacon for sure, and you can just see like a corner of
Looks
it
like
starting
rainbowy.
to get dark. Like, you're not chopping off that dark piece and still cooking the fucking bacon. That shit's bad.
Yeah, you're getting rid of that shit.
And I don't know foods well enough, but like bread, like moldy bread, I
Fuck
don't. If I
that,
see
dude.
mold on the bread, I throw
So
it.
that
But
whole
could
thing-
you,
Especially if
you
it's
might
in a
be
bag.
able to.
It's in a
If it's in
bag,
that
dude.
bag,
That mold's been
that's-
infesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I would never, but I feel like mold might be something that you could just cut off. But I
No,
don't know.
fuck that.
Not on bread.
Again, don't need to linger on it. I just want to say, Kyle, 100% right. Got to give it to him when he
Yeah,
earns it.
yeah,
He
I
nailed
mean,
the onion one. This is something I
He's
was going to bring
right
up
in the
even if
fact
he
that
didn't say
people.
it.
He's right in the fact that people do it. Is it the right thing to do? Up for
And like I
up
said,
for debate.
if you're hungry enough, and when Sam does it, he's starving as fuck. But
sure.
it still proves the point. A half rotten
For sure.
onion is not rotten. You can eat that fucker like
Yeah,
Sam
bro.
did.
You can
Cut off the
Well,
bad parts.
you could-
He cut off his fingers.
You could eat.
Now he's
stuff
just a good
and,
man.
and still get sick. Let's be real. You could eat something that's gone bad and not die.
Yeah.
You might just get a little tummy ache. You might get a little.
I'm the king of this.
Huh? You get like food poisoning. You get a little fucking. You get the bubble guts for a day.
I got the bubble guts yesterday.
Yeah, you probably ate something that was a little bit rot, and here you are.
Nah, it
You're
was
still here
fresh.
with us.
All right, moving down the line. Stannis looks older, right? Kyle
Yeah.
says he can't
This-
keep doing
the
this.
shadow
gonna talk
baby
about
is
this too.
the shadow baby
Yeah.
is taking the life out of him.
And that's why they need Edric Storm, so they can use Edric Storm to take the life out of him instead of Stannis.
He didn't have any clue about Edric Storm magic-y other than trying to prove incest. He's still on the prove incest thing with
Well,
Edric.
so the whole thing is, right, we haven't heard King's Blood yet. There's the
Right.
power. We
Yeah.
haven't heard that yet. Once we
Sure.
hear that, then Edric Storm makes sense. Right now, Edric Storm, yeah, we just want him to, I mean, Stannis has said why he wants him. We want
Yeah.
Edric Storm to do this. But we know, Melisandre's going to be up to some shit with him later on.
I was curious to
Davos
see.
helps him escape because they're going to try and sacrifice this guy.
Yeah,
Like, he gets him away.
I was curious
I
to
think.
see if
Does he?
I
He does that
believe
to
so.
Gendry in the show, but I think he does that
In
as
the
well.
show,
Yeah, and
it's
then he gets locked
what's
up
his-
for it.
Gendry,
Yeah,
but
and he gets locked up for it. Yeah.
Yeah. I was literally just about to ask you, and now you said that, and it rung a bell for sure. I was curious to see if Kyle was going to pick up that Stannis was obviously his nightmare was a little bit more than a nightmare. Like you said that, and I don't know if he truly even agreed. Like maybe he did.
I think he did.
And
Like
now
green tent
now
candles.
he's looking older. He's he didn't put anything together of that
I
shadow
don't think he
actually
got
affecting his
Yeah, he
his
didn't
actual
get
self.
that.
And what this reminds me of is it reminds me of we talked about in the spoiler section for the last one with the whole last kiss thing when he's giving some of his life to resurrect Beric, right? Like Stannis is giving some of his life to make this shadow
Birth of
baby.
Phoebe.
I don't
Shadow
think we
baby.
ever get this. Yeah, exactly. And I don't think we ever get this scene in the books, but in the show, there's a scene with Melisandre and Davos where he's like, "Give me one more son, whatever. Like, we'll kill Joffrey. Give me one more son." And Melisandre's like, "You're too weak."
Yeah, it'll kill you.
Right.
She's like,
It doesn't even really make sense in the show because there's only been one shadow baby. So like, it's like, what do you mean, like one shadow baby?
That
Like,
one
that's all
took
he's
enough
got?
of
Like,
him.
here it makes sense. Like, it makes sense if Stannis has done it twice and it's like, okay, you can't really do it that much.
No, that makes sense. I agree.
Were we done with the shadow baby stuff?
I think so.
Just that it's actually killing him. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
do you think he can't fight as well anymore? Because I mean, he's about to go to Blackwater Bay and like tear shit up, so he's not that
Yeah, but
weak yet.
He's not fighting. I don't think. I think he's just commanding.
Like in the show, he's climbing, like he's on the ladder. I don't think it's like he's not.
I
He's
feel
a
like
commander.
it says like
I'm not
he's.
saying he's a bad fighter, like, but he's like the way they talk about Stannis in terms of war. They don't. It's not the same way they talk about Robert. Like
Yeah.
Robert will fuck you up 1v1. Stannis will just outwit you and command the like out.
Yeah,
command.
maybe. I
Outfleet
feel
the
like
shit
I'd
out
have
of
to
you.
read. We'll see when we read it. I felt like he was fighting.
Like I
it.
don't think I'm not saying he's a bad fighter, Jeff. Like I bet you he beats
Yeah.
top 50. Like he's top 50, but like
Well,
I
it's
don't
not like
think
we
like
get
that's what he's
Stannis'
known
POV
for.
either. It's just Davos who's on a ship and gets fucked
Yeah.
up, and then it's Tyrion who's not going to see Stannis at all in the field.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe he was on him. I mean, if he was, we would probably hear of it at some point that he was like on
On
the
the beach.
land
Yeah.
or something, right? But yeah. So this was something that I thought that Kyle might pick up on. It would have been in a stretch, but he didn't. Renly thought Barristan would be with Stannis. At this point, we probably know Barristan isn't here. Barristan Selmy, right?
Mhm.
That was like he asked Kat this like 3 or 4 times, like,
Yeah.
"What's up with Barristan?" At this point, Kyle, if he was thinking about this, which again, you have to be really thinking hard to be thinking about Barristan.
To
in
even
this chapter.
remember Barristan, like I bet that name's not even like on like the front of
He
his
might
brain.
remember that.
He might remember him, like,
I feel like
when
we might have mentioned him last chapter.
when
with
we
the Kings,
when
with
we
all the
bring
Kingsguard
him
talk.
up, it would be like, okay, yeah, Barristan, but like he's not reading this chapter thinking about Barristan one time.
I don't think so, but
No.
at this point, I think this chapter is where you can finally, if you were thinking about it, you can be like, okay, he's not with Renly, he's not with Stannis, he's not. I mean, we knew
not
he
with
wasn't with
Starks.
Stannis before.
I think
but,
if you would have
it
thought about it, it would have been when Renly brought it up to him, and he didn't think about it then.
But even at that point, it had been a while, and the only POV we got from Stannis was like Crescent and Davos, who like really wasn't like, would they have really? I mean, maybe, but I don't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we might not even.
I
heard
get
of
you.
it.
He's not with
Here, it's
any
like a
of
for
the,
sure.
he's not with any of the kings in Westeros. Like we know he's not with Robb. We know he's not with Joffrey.
And he will show up this book, not as Barristan, as Archson Whitebeard, but he'll show up at the very end of this book with Dany.
He won't
So,
know that it's Barristan.
I mean, I don't think so either. I mean, but we'll see. We got to definitely play that one close to the chest.
There's no
Yep.
shot he knows it's Barristan.
I think it does.
Next one, I asked Kyle this, does Stannis ever actually get back at any of these lords? He says, I've forgiven but not forgotten. And will he, right? Like
I don't remember.
I don't think he does. There's nothing he ever
He
really
runs
does.
north. Why? When does he run north? After Blackwater Bay?
So this is another one I have. He says, the day I take counsel from a brigand, Salvador Sand, right?
This is the day I
West End
take the
brigand.
black.
Is the day I take the black. And there is a day, he doesn't take the black, but he basically does the job of the wall. He goes up there and saves the wall from a invading force of wildlings.
Right.
And
He
was
does
that
what the people who did
Salvador
the black
San's
do.
advice?
I don't think so. I think in the show, it's when Davos learns to read and he finally learns to read a letter and he reads
And
the
he
letter from the
sees-
fucking wall and he's like, we need fucking help. And he's the only one that takes it
Mhm.
at its worth. I don't know if that's exactly how it goes in the show or in the books. It has to be similar. Like, I can't see how else it goes where Davos isn't involved in some way. But I feel like he doesn't learn to read it. Like,
He
at
doesn't-
least
he-
in the
he
same
learns
way as
in
he does
jail
in the,
when he's
in
in
the
jail
books.
with the daughter.
Does he in the books too?
I don't
Sometimes feel
remember.
like it's not
I
the
don't
exact
remember the
same.
books.
I'm not sure.
I don't
Yeah.
remember the books.
Yeah, I don't
It's been a while
remember
since I got
really
to that point. I don't remember exactly how that goes, but I just thought it was weird that he's like, the day that I do this, the day I take. First off, he's saying I take advice from any brigand. Like I said in the non-spoilers,
The Onion
Davos
Knight and
is
the Witch.
not.
Yeah. Davos is basically a pirate.
He's not. Davos is no better than Salvador Sand. So you're
No,
already
what are
taking.
you talking
and
about?
you will.
Smugglers are way more honorable than pirates.
The smuggler is a pirate. Let's get that straight.
Mm-mm. Way different.
Smugglers are more sneaky.
Pirates are taking over
Who
your
says a
ship.
pirate has to be loud and obnoxious and
Pirates are
colorful?
taking over your ship. Smugglers
couldn't
are
a
just
pirate-
Hey, I'm a
stealing
pirate.
shit
I'm a
from
pirate in
your...
Sea of Thieves, and I do sneaky tuck plays all the time.
So
That's
you're
more
a
of a smuggler.
smuggler.
I'm just saying, pirates can do both. Smugglers are
pirates.
one trick pony. Smugglers are a one trick pony, though.
Disagree.
We're just fucking around now. Prophecy from Mel. I want to get into this one.
Fuck smell.
Melisandre. Davos says.
That was the
Thinking like
stupidest
Mel
question
Gibson. Who the fuck is Mel?
Davos says, like, how can this be a thing? Like, if it needed you to make it happen, if it needs me to make it happen, how can it be true that Courtney Penner is going to die tonight? How could it have been true that she saw Renly die in the flames if it needed you to make it happen? This is exactly the same thing Jojen's sister, Mira, brought up. Like, what's the point of sending these prophecies if you can't change them?
Right, right.
You're either fulfilling it or you're trying to stop it. One of the two is the reason someone sent this to you, right? Is that true with kind of like Jeff's thing? Is there just a bigger person playing playing puppet on Melisandre? Like Kyle's saying Melisandre's puppeting Stannis. Is somebody puppeting Melisandre through these flames?
I don't think so because, like I mentioned earlier in the non-spoiler, there was two visions of Stannis's, or let's just say of Renly more. There was Renly dying or Renly smashing Stannis' army at King's Landing. So,
but that happens.
Renly smashing Stannis' army?
When Stannis attacks King's Landing.
Oh, it's Loras. It's Loras.
Well, it's Garland. It's Garland Tyrell, who's a better fighter than Loras. But it's one of the Tyrells. They have him dress up in Renly's armor to try and strike fear into Stannis' people. But when Davos says, how can two futures be true? They are both true.
They are both true. I didn't even think about that.
I totally forgot about that.
But again, if someone's sending these to Melisandre, someone is sending these visions to Melisandre. And what's weird is if they are, they do require her people to act on them to make them true. They say Renly's going to die. But if Stannis doesn't act on that, then how is Renly going to fucking die? But then Stannis doesn't act like, do you guys know what I mean by that? Like,
not really.
The vision about Renly dying, if they would just send that to Melisandre and Stannis would have been like, you know what, Renly's going to die. We don't got to do anything. We don't got to sail anywhere.
Yeah, but did
Renly would not die then?
But was the vision? I'd have to find it. Was it? What if the vision is actually of a shadow of Stannis killing him, and she was like, "All right, I know what we have to do."
Yeah,
my point is
that could totally be it.
My point is some of the visions that Mel sees in the flames, such as that one, require action. Right, require us to, hey, let's do this, and then this
I'm sure they could
happen.
have sent the Shadow Baby from Dragonstone.
But
is there a fucking mileage limit that the Shadow Baby can?
Well,
go?
then why didn't they?
Because they wanted to take Storm's End for Eldrick. Duh.
Even then, that still requires action. They still have to Melisandre still has to give birth to this thing. Someone has to make this prophecy happen. Whereas the other prophecy, Renly smashing Stannis under King's Landing, they don't try and make that happen. They think they have already avoided that, but it happens anyway.
Well, it's only because they didn't bring Melisandre along, though. If they bring her along, she probably contains the wildfire, and they win.
Okay, so I don't know if I like what you're saying, Globe. I don't know if I believe she can contain the wildfire. I don't hate the idea that the outcome is different if Melisandre's there. That makes sense because the outcome maybe the outcome is just if you don't bring Melisandre to King's Landing, period, at any point you lose to Renly in some way, whether that's actually Renly or it's Garland dressed as Renly. The outcome is the same as long as Melisandre's not there. To me, I don't understand how having Melisandre there stops Renly from showing up, though. Whether they win or lose, Renly still shows up.
Let me read you the quote.
And by Renly, I mean Tywin. Sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
Let me read you the quote of the Renly's death part, and we'll just see if we can kind of come to a conclusion. So Courtney will be dead within the day. Melisandre has seen it in the flames of the future, his death and the manner of it. So that kind of answers one question.
The manner of it, yeah.
He will not die in knightly combat, needless to say. Stannis held on his cup, and Devon filled it again from the flagon. Her flames do not lie. So that's kind of like Green Dreams, right? Kind of like you were saying.
Time out. Let's stop there. Question. How can Stannis say they don't lie? He thinks that he's already disproved one.
All right.
He thinks he's disproved the one of him losing under
but he doesn't know
because
he's not thinking. Right. You would think he does know that one lies.
Then it lies.
So he kind of forgot. He kind of forgot.
It's giving him two paths, though, is what he thinks. Like there's two ways this can go, this way or this way.
Okay.
She saw Renly's doom as well. On Dragonstone, she saw it and told Selyse. Lord Valerian and your friend Salvador-san would have had me sail against Joffrey, but Melisandre told me that if I went to Storm's End, I would win the best part of my brother's power, and she was right. So.
Exactly. And isn't this where Davos starts thinking, how can it, like,
But
like...
Lord Renly only came here because you had laid siege to the castle.
Exactly, like Renly wasn't even going to be near Storm's End if Stannis would have come
shifted
here.
in his seat, frowning. Would have, what is that? He did what he did. So Stannis basically like poo-hoos it, like fuck it, doesn't matter now.
He pushes that. He just brushes that under a rug.
He did what he did.
But
he
I think that's an important question. That's an important question.
Yeah,
like, Stannis doesn't give a fuck because he got what he wants, but that's still an important question that he just kind of brushed under the rug. And the point that Jeff, I don't think you're still understanding my main point here.
No, okay, let me just finish because it's right here. And it was well for me he did. Melisandre saw another day in her flames as well. Amora, where Renly rode out of the south in his green armor to smash my host beneath the walls of King's Landing. Had I met my brother there, it might have been me who died in place of him.
Yeah. So my point was that I think you were looking for that quote when I was saying it to Glow was the one of these. Let's just fuck the Courtney Penrose flame thing for now. Let's just take the two Renly ones.
Okay. One
of those requires action. Stannis has to do something in order to make Renly die. Mel says, hey, do this and this flame vision will happen. She says and he does, right? And then it happens. But the other one happens anyway, right? So what I'm saying is, again, like you're always saying, Jeff, think about the person. If there is a person, I'm not saying there is, but if there is a person sending these visions, like Mira said, what's the point in sending visions? It makes sense to send the Renly vision. The one that Renly's going to die.
Yeah.
Because if you want Stannis to act on something, if you want him to actually go try and kill Renly, then you send this vision and he does it.
If you want him,
why send the other vision?
If you want him to go to Storm's End, well, I think that's it. I think that's it. That's exactly what's it. You're not ready to take King's Landing now because of Renly. Fake Renly is actually who's going to fuck you.
Okay.
All right. So let's just say. Because people are counseling him to go to King's Landing. Why would he be afraid to go to King's Landing? Because Melisandre has a vision of him getting smashed in front of it. Hold on. So that's still there. That's the other truth, right?
King's Landing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just, she saw that one first. That doesn't mean it has to happen first. So you're saying if someone is sending the message, he's trying to send the message, don't go to King's Landing. You're not going to want to go to King's Landing because Renly's going to smash you. So that's kind of like Inception. Like, all right, we're not going to King's Landing.
It's not 100% what I'm saying. What I'm saying is why does one of these visions require action and the other one seems like it's going to happen anyway? If Stannis goes to King's Landing right away, the vision happens. If Stannis doesn't go to King's Landing right away, the vision happens anyway. But if Stannis goes to King's Landing right away, then the Renly vision never happens. How come one of these visions happens?
We don't know that.
But if Stannis goes to King's Landing and dies, how does Renly ever get shadow babied?
Maybe he doesn't die.
I guess he doesn't die anyway. Like
maybe he takes over. Maybe Stannis actually wins King's Landing, and then meets Renly on a different day.
Kind of like Davos says, how they joined it. Like Davos says,
we don't know what that future would be like. That's a whole different timeline. We're getting to like Back to the Future timeline now,
and that's what Davos says. Davos says, how do you know that if that future would have happened, you and Renly wouldn't have joined forces and beat the Lannisters?
Right.
So I can see that again. I understand it from that point of view, just from like if you put yourself in like the Bloodraven chair or whoever it is that's sending these visions, what's the point? And I get what you guys are saying. You send the King's Landing vision to deter him from going to King's Landing, but I think that it's enough to send the Renly vision to deter him from King's Landing. Like, hey, you don't need to tell him what bad's going to happen at King's Landing. Just tell him what's good's going to happen at Storm's End. You don't need both.
Agreed.
It's kind of my point.
But
I'm gonna get
it's
a new link real
but
quick.
Then you end up at kind of this point now. Maybe not. Like, I don't know. You're right. Do you need
there's no right answer to this.
I think it's kind of
one
really
of these things I think it's interesting to talk about, right?
Yeah. I think it's a red herring.
What's interesting that you guys are bringing up is, could this King's Landing vision go two ways? Could it be that Stannis actually would lose if he wouldn't have gone to Storm's End, and that vision would have been right anyway?
Mm-hmm.
And even if that's possible, there's a way that maybe Stannis loses, he still escapes, because we know he loses at the end of the day anyway and escapes. So maybe he does, like, say he doesn't go to Storm's End. Maybe he does lose and escape and still kill Renly after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe, say he doesn't go to Storm's End. There's a chance he could go to King's Landing, lose the battle, Renly wins the battle. He escapes. Now Renly's on the throne, and then a shadow baby kills Renly. Like, that's a possible alternate future, right? Where both those prophecies still happen, but in the opposite order.
Sure. Or like the shadow could just be like a metaphor, and like someone slips in the night and just kills him.
Yeah,
Opposite
we
order.
don't. Well, you said the manner of it. So I don't know
Right.
if that works.
Sure.
But yeah.
Sure.
Either way.
It's kind of reminding me of like Final Destination stuff right now, where like this is the vision. It's gonna come true. You don't know when it's gonna come true. So like in Final Destination, like they see their death and they like, but then they get saved. But like death has marked them, so death is still coming for them. They just don't know how. But then they like kind of have clues and they like try and stop it, but it doesn't matter. Like even when you're trying to stop it, like the truth still comes true.
Yeah.
Right. So
I hate to keep bringing these up, but in the Preston, again, totally off topic, the Preston Jacob time Italian brand thing, one of the examples he brings up, again, I don't even remember exactly what he's talking about, but he says, it's like if you had like a prophecy or you had a dream that you were going to hit by a car tomorrow.
you
right?
hide from.
Maybe you would stay inside all
Right.
day long, and then a car crashes into your house and you die inside your living room.
Yeah. Right.
Like you try and do the opposite and you still get the thing.
Yep.
Right. Which is interesting about these two prophecies. So what Mira said is,
They're
what's the
always
point of
coming
sending a
for you,
prophecy?
yeah.
It's one of two things. You either want the person receiving the prophecy to act on it to fulfill it, or act on it to not fulfill it. And what happens here is you get two prophecies. Stannis tries to fulfill one and tries to not fulfill one,
Mhm.
and they both happen.
Yep.
Which might be what whoever's sending the prophecies wants.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, why else send them? There's a goal to sending them. So this is probably either exactly what he wanted to happen, or he wanted Stannis to avoid King's Landing, maybe altogether, and never go there.
So you're saying the Lord of Light works for the Lannisters because he wants the Lannisters in power, it sounds like, because he doesn't want Stannis to attack. He took away Renly, who was like their biggest threat at the time, and now Renly's biggest forces are about to join the Lannisters.
I like where your head's at, Glow, and I want to talk about this more, but we're already over 2 hours into a podcast and I got fucking COVID. So my point was, one thing that we've never thought about was, we talk about Bloodraven as being like the mastermind behind all the dreams, but we never talk about who's the mastermind. Like, we talk about Melisandre as the mastermind of Stannis, but it seems like someone is basically masterminding Melisandre.
Yeah.
What Glow's getting into
Showing
is,
her.
what you're getting into, Glow, is what is that person's goal? Which
Yeah.
I think is definitely something we should get into.
I don't
Maybe
even
let's
think.
shelve that one for another podcast, because there's a few other points I want to hit here.
I don't even know if Melisandre is really for Stannis.
The thing is, I don't know if Melisandre
She's for
knows
the
who
Lord of
she's
Light.
for, right? She
Yeah.
definitely starts to, like
Like-
Dance of Dragons. It seems like she's confused herself and starts kind of being
She's
like,
like,
oh, you
I
know
guess
what?
I gotta cheer for Jon Snow.
Jon
Show me
Snow.
Azor
Yeah.
Ahai, and it's all only showing me
Right.
Snow.
Like I
Which
truly
again-
think she's just like, oh, well, like I'm doing Stannis because it's what this person wants me to do. Like, fuck Stannis, really. Like, I don't really care about Stannis. Like, I don't.
It's like Bran's been getting visions of going north his entire life. It's like all of a sudden he starts getting the visions of like Sunspear. It's like, why the fuck did I come north the whole time? Now I'm trying to go to Sunspear. It's kind of what happens to Melisandre, right? She's like, Stannis. Oh, now Jon Snow,
Yep.
right? So,
Someone's definitely controlling Melisandre.
Yeah,
and
she's
it's
getting
not
played like a
fucking
fiddle.
Red God.
but then again, is that? And again, I want to get it. What Glow's talking about is really interesting. I want to get into it. I just feel like we're going way too long for this one. But like, is that person? Is whoever's controlling Melisandre or sending those visions? Do they actually? Like, did they actually think that Stannis was the one that was going to win, and they were actually trying to make Stannis win, or was those visions just like kind of like Glow saying they wanted this to happen and this to happen and this to happen?
I
and
think
Stannis
this-
was
I
just
think
their
the
way to make
latter.
that.
I think the latter.
Yeah. I think we should get into that later, especially once, like, maybe after Melisandre starts getting more of these visions. This is really the first we've heard of her having like this like we heard a little bit of the magical stuff, but this is like the first like
Mhm.
real deep stuff.
All right. What's next?
Looks like I only have one more. What's up with the spells on Storm's End? Who put them there and why? Why does Storm's End have spells on it?
Because they were fucking getting smashed. Bran the
Yeah,
Builder.
they needed to
Bran the
keep
Builder
wall
came and
strong,
saved
dude.
them.
Yeah.
We knew this already.
He
So
built it for him.
Bran the Builder,
And he puts it. He puts it on. And he puts it on the wall too.
But why? Like, are the spells to stop the water?
The water, the drowned god, the children of the forest, everyone.
Any
The Red
magic.
God.
Any magic. Any tomfoolery.
But
They
like,
knew
what?
back then
Why?
that magic was real, so like let's
Like,
defend ourselves
Because
against
it's
magic.
just think about the
Let's
time
defend
period.
ourselves against magic.
It's when these men, right? These what are they? The fucking
The first man.
First men are coming into a magical land of children of the forest and White Walkers, and they're like, "Fuck, we need magic to stop all this fucking magic." That's what they basically do.
I mean, so let's talk about this then. How many places do we know that have magic? Like, where could a Melisandre shadow not pass?
Storm's
End. There's one other little wall. That's the two places I can think. Maybe Winterfell has some stuff, some magic stuff in the walls.
Probably does.
But like we
really don't know. Like, where else does she go?
That's what I'm saying. Like, is Storm's End like kind of what you're saying, Jeff? Like, if this is just like, oh, it was a magic time, all the castles have magic in them, but it doesn't seem like it seems like Storm's End is kind of a special case.
Sure. Here. Well, Storm's End's the only one that we know. Like,
wasn't it close to the Children of Faces or the Isle of Faces? Sorry, Jeff.
It's all right.
It's less close than King's Landing.
Storm's End is the only one that was getting beaten up by the Drowned God. Right, that's
not the Drowned God, but the whatever they call the Storm God or the Sea God. Maybe
it's the fucking Drowned God. It's the sea.
Okay,
it's the Drowned God.
So, like, if a magical being or god is fucking fighting you, you need to fight back. Like, it's not attacking Lannisport, so they didn't need the magic. They were just kind of safe there. Like Winterfell. No, what the tree?
Do they need the magic, or do they said that the walls are 80 feet thick at their thickest? Like, that seems like enough to stop a wave. Like, you don't need magic to stop a wave. You need magic to stop a shadow. Like, the wall's not trying to stop waves, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I just think it's interesting. We have, I think, like Glow said, like, I think the only two places, and maybe I'm wrong, that we've heard of that have like magic infused into them to stop shit like this from passing through. Like, Cold Hands couldn't get into fucking Storm's End. Right, so Cold Hands can go through the wall. Cold Hands can't get into Storm's End.
So
like, is that important? Probably not, but like maybe it's fucking really important. So why Storm's End?
Really, why Storm's End at the end of the day?
Well, what's important about Storm's End coming up for us is where we leave off with Dance of Dragons. Young Griff is like about to take Storm's End. Like, he's about to attack Storm's End and like take Storm's End.
Okay, but where does that get us?
I mean,
what if like dragons can't get inside Storm's End? Like, are dragons are magical? Like, what if they can't even like fly over?
This magic went under it. Why can't the magic go?
What if Storm's End can't get burned like Harrenhal did because it's got magic in it?
Sure, they'll just burn all the people in it, and the castle will be there.
Yeah. Sure, but again, that's cool. That's bad. Like,
it's cool.
Either way,
I don't know.
It's still cool.
It's super cool for sure.
I think there's something about. Again, I don't know what it is. I think it's interesting that Storm's End is one of the very few castles. We've heard about a lot of castles. It's the only one we've heard with magic stuff in it. And again, it's the only one where someone's tried to do magic stuff nearby. So maybe that's the only reason. Maybe, like you're saying, Jeff, maybe they all have magic and it's just Melisandre's never tried to sneak a shadow baby into the Vale, so we don't know.
Maybe Bran the Builder is the only one that really knew how to do this thing.
But then again, my question is, if Bran, again, so say Bran the Builder is time traveling Bran or whatever, knows the future. Is there a reason that Storm's End is important and this castle needs protection?
Yeah, because,
you know what I mean?
Because
like, is there a reason that
they need the Baratheon family? I don't know. Like, they just
say Bran goes to the Weirwood throne and is on the Weirwood throne for 300 years and sees what happens in the next two books.
All right,
based on anything that happens in the next two books, is there any reason that Bran might want to go back in time and make sure that Storm's End has some magic abilities? That's the only thing I'm saying. Is like, is there an interesting reason?
I'll just go even before this. How about the only person that stopped the Mad King was Robert? So you needed a Baratheon. You needed Robb to fucking stop the Mad King. That's it.
There you go. Maybe something in the past magical attacked Storm's End, and the only reason that the Baratheon line survived is because of this. That's just as equally exactly what I'm saying.
I'm saying it's the hurricanes.
You're saying I'm saying something crazy or else, but
yeah. I'm saying that might be the only thing. Like, Bran's like, oh fuck, if it's time travel Bran or just actual Bran the Builder, like we might need the Baratheons. Like, let's fucking save them with my magical blocks.
Yep,
and
gotcha.
Bang.
I feel like my point here is a lot of authors would be like, oh, Davos is trying, or kind of like the exact show problem, like. The only reason for Davos rowing Melisandre in the show is they wanted to show it. Yeah. Right? The only reason for Davos having to row Melisandre here is because of the magic. So is the magic just here because George wanted to show this chapter?
No,
I don't think so. I think there's that's my point, right? There's another point between the magic, and I don't think it's the storms.
They already had prefaced it with the storms, though. In the story of...
Did they talk about the magic in that, though?
They talked about how Bran the Builder came down and I think we more or less inferred it. Bran the Builder came down to help build
the
80-foot storm wall, And we're just like, I'm inferring that there was magic because he helped build the wall too.
Yeah, I mean, that's Bran the Builder.
The song said that Storm's End had been raised in ancient days by Durin, the first Storm King, who had won the love of the fair Elenai, the daughter of the sea god and the goddess of the wind. On the night of their wedding, Elenai had yielded her maidenhood to a mortal's love and thus doomed herself to a mortal's death. And her grieving parents had unleashed their wrath and sent the winds and waters to batter down Durin's hold. His friends and brothers and wedding guests were crushed beneath the collapsing walls or blown out to sea, but Elenai sheltered Dalton within her arms, so he took no harm. And when the dawn came at last, he declared war upon the gods and vowed to rebuild. 5 more castles he built, each larger and stronger than the last, only to see them smash asunder when the gale winds came howling up Shipbreaker Bay, driving great walls of water before them. His lords pleaded with him to build inland. His priest told him to placate the gods by giving Elenai back to the sea. Even his small folk begged him to relent. Durin would have none of it. A 7th castle he raised, most massive of all. Some say that the children of the forest helped him build it, shaping the stones with magic, others claiming that a small boy told him what he must do, a boy who would grow to be Ben the Builder. No matter how the tales were told, in the end was the same. Though the angry gods threw storm after storm against it, the 7 castles stood defiant, and during God's grief and fair Elenai dwelt there together until the end of their days. Gods do not forget, and still gales come raging up the narrow sea. Yet Storm's End endured, for centuries and tens of centuries, a castle like no other. Its great curtain wall 100 feet high, unbroken by arrow slit or postern, everywhere rounded, curving, smooth, its stone fit so cunningly together that nowhere was crevice nor angle nor gap by which the wind might enter. That wall was said to have been 40 feet thick at its narrowest and near 80 on the seaward face, a double course of stones and inner core of sand and rubble. Within that mighty bulwark, the kitchens and stables and yard shelters safe from the wind and wave. Of towers there was but one, a colossal drum tower windowless where it faced the sea, so large that even the granary and barracks and feast hall and lord's dwelling all in one, crowned by massive battlements that made it look afar like a spiked fist atop an upthrust arm. They say that Children of the Forest and that Bran told him how to fit the stones cunningly, but they don't really say magic. But to your point, Jeff, they do say that like the Children of the Forest, they don't say magic here. But to your point, they do say
it's magic. It's magic.
They do say, and they do say that like the main reason for having to call on them was the storms.
Yeah.
So I guess that makes sense, but I don't know. I hope there's something else. You know what I mean?
Sure. It'd be cool that like if they had to bunker down in Storm's End one more time because of I don't know, the White Walkers. Let's just say the fucking White Walkers get all the way to Storm's End.
They're the storms,
and they're like, "Fuck it!" Like everybody get the Storm's End, and that's it's the battle of Storm's End instead of the Battle of Winterfell. I don't know.
Badass as
well, Jeff, you're onto it.
But yeah, I mean, we know that there was magic in the walls because of the Shadow Baby. We know that there's magic in the actual wall because of fucking Bran the Builder. So you put 2 and 2 together.
I think we might not know that officially until Melisandre.
We know it though.
Oh no, Cold Hands. Cold Hands says I can't pass through because there's magic in here, which is again like a call by Storm's End. Last thing, I don't actually have it, but I was going to mention it. This is very similar to Jaqen killing Chiswick. Right, so when Courtney dies, he gets pushed from the battlements. Right, so when Renly died, it was a bigger like who done it because like literally there's no one around. Mm-hmm. Here, like he just got pushed from his battlements. Again, I think it was like on his balcony. So like the guards on the door said no one entered.
I didn't remember that.
I think he's like on his balcony, so the guards on the door say no one entered, no one left.
He committed suicide.
Like, basically, Tyrion, when Varys tells him this, like he just writes it off. Exactly, he says he either committed suicide or like one of the guards did it, who says no one entered. It was one of them. Because they just didn't want to die. Right? It just makes way more sense why Courtney would either be killed by somebody from within the castle who knew they were going to be hanged when Stannis took it. And was like, fuck Courtney, let's just give up this bastard and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So like it's way less questionable when Courtney dies than it is when Renly, at least I think so, when Renly dies.
Agreed.
Like to everybody else. And I think it kind of mirrors the Jaqen thing a little bit because Jaqen pushes Chiswick off the... Arya says the name, Jaqen pushes Chiswick. Stannis thinks, then he fucking gets pushed. But not a huge parallel there. Except for fucking Stannis is basically ticking names off his list.
Yeah.
Renly, Courtney, and Stannis.
All right,
Chiswick.
have me another baby.
Yeah, exactly. So
baby time. I need that Edric.
But yeah, that's all I got.
All right.
Definitely a long podcast. Might be the longest ever. I think it definitely will be. We'll see how it gets edited, but
Get your coffee. I don't think there's going to be much to cut for sure. Get your coffee pots on, ladies and gentlemen, and read Davos 2 with us.
Luckily, I got COVID, so I got nothing to do but edit.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, we'll see you guys in the next one. John 5.
Bye.
John
Bye, guys. Thanks
5.
for
The night
listening.
is dark and full of terrors.